My wife is a beautiful CEO. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 851, Terrifying Power. Boom. As the culprit, Zhou Wanqiu will naturally not be let off. The terrifying thunder fell on his head. The power of heaven and earth cannot be shaken. Not to mention that Zhou Wanqiu is only a strong man in the middle stage of the physical body of the heavenly man realm, even if he is in the late stage. What? The act of provoking the power of heaven is risky. The heavenly man realm will give different degrees of punishment according to the level of cultivation. In this way, although Zhou Wanqiu joined last, he was the one who was taken care of by the thunder the most among the three. Zhou Wanqiu was directly hit by the rough thunder. He spurted out a mouthful of blood and was blown away. Looking at his whole body again, it was already exploded and bloodstained. Seeing this scene, Su Wanqiu, who wanted to help, was completely silent and trembling in the side. Unbeatable golden body, open it for me. Su Chen shouted in his heart. The defense of the physical body in the heavenly man realm was open to the peak at the same time. Zhou Wanqiu's miserable condition was seen by Su Chen. Even the middle stage of the heavenly man realm was torn to pieces, so he dared not take risks easily. At the same time, in Su Chen's sea of consciousness, the spirit god was on full alert, ready to repair Su Chen's injuries at any time. Not only that, a wisp of yin and yang intertwined aura enveloped Su Chen's body, which was his unique spiritual power. Since breaking through to the spiritual master, Su Chen's spiritual power has been completely different from that of ordinary spiritual masters. Practicing yin and yang together makes Su Chen's spiritual power more resilient than that of ordinary spiritual masters, and the recovery speed will also be faster. In fact, Su Chen had previously had the feat of tempering his yang spirit into thunder, and his spirit god naturally inherited this characteristic. Now that the thunder has fallen, Su Chen's spiritual power still has some resistance, which can slightly reduce the damage of thunder. With many layers of protection, Su Chen still feels that it is not enough. He began to recite the Taoist meditation mantra. A clear mind is like water, and clear water is the mind. A breeze does not rise, and waves are not startled. Sitting alone in the secluded bamboo, whistling and playing the zither, the most virtuous and kind, the great way is natural. When Liang, who was standing by, could only forcibly condense his spiritual defense to resist the might of heaven. Fortunately, this time, the might of heaven was mainly aimed at Zhou Wanqiu, and Su Chen and Wen Liang were not greatly affected. After a wave of thunder tribulation, Su Chen was just about to breathe a sigh of relief. However, the thunder clouds in the sky rolled again. The three people were shocked. Zhou Wanqiu almost cried. Under the thunder tribulation, the three people who had already endured a wave of bombing were once again in a hurry to defend themselves and deal with the magnificent might of heaven in the sky. This terrifying scene shocked many strong men present. Can they survive such a terrifying thunder? In fact, only Su Chen knew. This thunder was completely different from the previous ones he encountered. This time, it was a real test of heaven and earth. In the past, no matter how bad it was just a leak of ki, and the interaction between heaven and earth would attract thunder. Sometimes, Su Chen himself would even attract thunder, but this time was different. The reason for this thunder tribulation was that Su Chen wanted to perform the unity of heaven and man. If we put the unity of heaven and man more clearly, it means to replace the heart of heaven with my heart. What is the heart of heaven? The will of heaven and earth. It is such a crazy idea to replace the will of heaven and earth with the will of man. And this is why Grandpa repeatedly warned us not to perform it. But now, Su Chen is in a difficult situation. The formula and hand seals have been performed. The heaven and earth tribulation fell, and there was only one way to go, except to bear it. Boom. A series of thunders fell. This time, the thunder did not favor Zhou Wanqiu too much, but rained and dew evenly. Boom. Su Chen was hit hard. Even though he was fully prepared, he could not help but stagger under the blast of this terrifying thunder. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. Su Chen's breath was weak, and his face was as pale as gold paper. The next moment, the longevity energy flowed, and Su Chen's injuries recovered quickly. However, his face was still a little pale. Compared with Su Chen, Zhao Dezu and Wen Liang were in a worse situation. Without Su Chen's longevity energy, they naturally could not recover themselves. Just this one. Wen Liang fell directly to the ground, and the smell of meat came out. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Zhao Dezu was slightly better, but after 2 consecutive heavy blows, his skin was torn, and he could die at any time. Bang kakab. Another wave of thunder fell. This time, the power of the thunder was increased by another 10% compared to the second wave. If an ordinary strong man in the early stage of the god realm encountered it, I'm afraid that with just this one blow, he might be reduced to ashes. This is a disaster. A real disaster. This is a punishment from heaven and earth. It stands to reason that the god realm cannot encounter it. But heavens can be forgiven, but self-inflicted disasters cannot be survived. Originally, Su Chen had to face this disaster alone. But Wen Liang was involved in it without knowing how to live or die. And Zhao Dezu was even more ignorant and wanted to save people under the thunder tribulation. Under normal circumstances, there was only one wave of thunder. But this time, there were 9 waves of such terrifying thunder. Even Su Chen, who had various means, was not very confident. I'm afraid that these 2 people have little chance of survival. Seeing the miserable state of the people under the thunder, everyone on the battlefield looked horrified. At this time, Cheng Xiansun, Zhang Taian and others could only watch helplessly. If there was enough time, perhaps a formation could be arranged to conceal the secrets of heaven. But now, thunder was brewing and kept falling down. They had no time to prepare the materials for arranging that kind of super formation. What's more, concealing the secrets of heaven can only be temporary, and they will suffer terrible heavenly punishment when they go out of the formation. Such a terrible heavenly punishment, let alone the god realm, even the return to one realm may not be able to enjoy it. The heavenly punishment rolled, without any pause. The strong men on both sides of the enemy and us can only wait. Just when Su Chen finished performing the secret technique, and attracted the bombardment of the sky thunder, in the depths of the distant starry sky, in several extremely terrifying worlds, many hidden strong men suddenly raised their eyes. On the top of the mountain, an old man in a green shirt was lying drunk. On that old face, there were a pair of extremely bright eyes. He suddenly whispered, "The ancestral land has appeared." If there were any warriors here, they would find that this person's aura was as vast as the sea, as if facing a world. This is a real great power. Even, it has far surpassed the return to one realm and reached a more terrifying realm. The third update is here. Good night everyone. Thank you for your support. Chapter 852, Ancient Jade Pendant. In addition to the terrifying old man on the mysterious mountain top, other strong men also looked up. In a mysterious holy place, in a palace, filled with fairy spirit, a beautiful woman looked up. This is the ancestral land? She had phoenix eyes, a golden crown on her head, and her clothes were constantly shining with precious light. In another place, in a forest with a wild atmosphere, a middle-aged strong man holding a bow and arrow actually left the wild beast in pursuit and subconsciously looked up at the sky in the distance. Ancestral land. It's the breath of the ancestral land. At this moment, a series of terrifying auras revived. Among them, there were strong men who were in seclusion. And there were also masters who lived in seclusion in various places. However, Su Chen, who was in Kingsang Mountain at this time, had no idea what terrible consequences his actions had caused. At this moment, he could only do his best to resist the thunder in the sky. Boom. The 4th wave of thunder finally passed. Su Chen's body had begun to become scarred, and he no longer had the charm of the past. Even though he had many means of defense and recovery, it was still difficult for him to withstand such a thunder bombardment. As for Zhao Dezu and Wen Liang, their situation was even worse. There was no intact flesh and blood on their bodies, which looked extremely desolate. However, the 2 were still holding on strongly, trying to survive this thunder tribulation. But Su Chen felt that the probability was very low. Even he himself was a little unsure. Too risky. Su Chen felt a little regretful in his heart. Boom. In the sky, thunders continued one after another. One wave after another, like a downpour, giving people a shocking sense of horror. Logically speaking, Su Chen is a native of this world. Unless there are special circumstances, the will of heaven and earth is unlikely to take action against him. This is a reason why a tiger will not eat its own cubs. A mother will never take action against her own child unless she has no choice. But if this child is rebellious and even tries to kill his mother and father, it will naturally lead to the destruction of relatives for the greater good. And the unity of heaven and man is a provocation to the will of heaven and earth. This provocation is a trampling on the will of heaven and earth and a great humiliation. Now, to the will of this world, Su Chen is a traitor. And Zhou Dezu and Wen Liang are obviously Su Chen's accomplices. Even though they are also children of this world, they are also not afraid of the catastrophe. Replace the heart of heaven with my heart. This is against the will of heaven. Not to mention the mere God realm, even the return to one realm, or even the existence with higher cultivation, will not rashly do this. Boom. 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 Thunder wave after wave. In a blink of an eye, it has reached the 7th wave of thunder. What's more terrifying is that these thunders are more terrifying than the previous ones, as if they are determined to fight to the death. Under the targeting of the thunder tribulation, Su Chen felt that he was like a candle in the wind and a lonely boat in the sea, and he might capsize at any time. And the same is true for Wen Liang and Zhou Dezu. Boom. Or thunderbolt hit Su Chen fiercely. Puff. Su Chen vomited a mouthful of blood and was thrown out. Su Chen, Uncle Master, Big Brother, Chen, Mr. Su. Everyone in Su Chen's camp looked extremely ugly. They rushed in to rescue Su Chen, but stopped abruptly. Just now, Zhou Dezu's lesson had taught them that rushing, it would only make the thunder tribulation more severe. Liu Shaoan, Yuzin Bei and others showed excited smiles on their faces. Although Wen Liang and Zhou Dezu were also in the thunder tribulation. But everyone in the Liu family felt that if they could use their lives to exchange for the death of Su Chen, this Evildoer, it would be very worthwhile. Boom. In the eyes of everyone, dark clouds rolled. Thunder roared, like a wild beast roaring in it. Obviously, the thunder that was about to attack this time was probably more terrifying. Under the rolling power of heaven, everyone felt that their breathing was suppressed. Su Chen felt that a terrifying pressure directly locked him. Creak. Su Chen felt that his bones were creaking under the pressure, and the flow of blood seemed to have stopped. The whole person was pinned to the spot, and it was extremely difficult for him to even move a step. Next, what awaited him would be a real thunder strike. This time I'm really done for. Su Chen smiled bitterly in his heart. At this moment, crack. A crisp sound suddenly sounded in front of Su Chen's chest. Su Chen was startled. He subconsciously lowered his head. On Su Chen's chest, there was an ancient jade pendant. Su Chen had never known the origin of this jade pendant. He only knew that he had been wearing the jade pendant since he could remember. And at this moment, there was an undetectable crack on the ancient jade pendant on his chest. The next second, from the crack of the jade pendant, golden light spots actually overflowed and gathered towards the thunder in the sky. This is. Su Chen's pupils shrank. He didn't know what these golden light spots meant, but Su Chen felt as if he had lost something. Boom. The 8th wave of thunder fell again. Boom. The thunder struck Su Chen fiercely. However, this time, Su Chen was very surprised, because he felt that the power of the thunder was weakened a lot. What's going on? Su Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. Thunder is stronger than the previous wave, which has always been a rule. But the 8th wave of thunder suddenly weakened. In fact, the power of the thunder that hit Su Chen this time was only about the same as the previous 3 waves. Although Su Chen felt uncomfortable, he could bear it. Could it be that this thunder tribulation has weakened? Or thought flashed through Su Chen's mind. However, before he could confirm it, 2 more thunder sounded in succession. Then, there was a scream. Ah! I'm not willing. A scream suddenly sounded. Then, there was no sound at all. Su Chen turned his head and looked. It was Wen Liang. This spiritual master in the middle stage of the divine realm did not survive this wave of thunder and fell directly. Su Chen was shocked. The power of this thunder tribulation did not weaken at all. It was only his own thunder tribulation that weakened. Thinking of this, Su Chen once again looked down at the jade pendant with a crack, his eyes thoughtful. Wen Liang died, but Su Chen was fine, which made the Liu family strongman look extremely unhappy. First update. Chapter 853, Taking Over the Heart of Heaven. Damn it. Su Chen, that bastard, is still alive. Yeah. What's going on? It doesn't make sense. Su Chen survived this wave, but Wen Liang was the first to die. I wonder if Zhou Dezu can hold on. He is a strong man in the middle stage of the physical heavenly realm. He should be fine, right? The Liu family strongman cursed and turned his head to look. Zhou Dezu was also in a very bad situation. Although he had not died yet, he was breathing out more than breathing in. Boom. The ninth wave of thunder. It was also the last wave of thunder. It had already taken shape and was ready to come again. The thunder rolled in the thunder cloud, and bursts of roars from the gods were heard. Everyone's heart was pounding. One by one, they looked up at the sky again. The terrifying thunder cloud was brewing a giant thunder dragon. Roar. The huge thunder dragon swooped down. This terrifying thunder tribulation did not seem to calm down because of Wen Liang's death. On the contrary, it seemed to become more angry because of the survival of Su Chen and Zhou Dezu. Boom. No one knows what the result will be for this last wave of thunder. The might of this wave alone is enough to make people tremble. Su Chen's face was solemn. He knew in his heart that this was the last test. If he could successfully survive it, he could temporarily replace the will of heaven and earth. Su Chen's original intention was to temporarily replace the will of heaven and earth and kill the 4 mid-level masters of the god realm. But now, it seems that it is too necessary. Because he didn't expect that before he replaced the will of heaven and earth, the terrifying thunder tribulation had already killed Wen Liang, the spiritual immortal master, and severely injured Zhou Dezu. Crack. Another crisp sound came. Another crack appeared on the ancient jade pendant. Su Chen looked down and saw countless golden light spots, like fireflies in the summer night, directly rushing towards the thunder dragon in the air. Finally. Boom. Crack. The terrifying thunder dragon fell down. A full 30% of the power fell on Su Chen, turning him into charcoal in an instant. And Zhou Dezu, who was in the middle stage of the heavenly man realm, directly bore more than 70% of the thunder power. Ah. Bang. Before he could finish his scream, Zhou Dezu's body completely turned into ashes. Brother Zhou. The gods of the Liu family exclaimed in unison. Another mid-level god-level warrior fell, which made them feel a sense of grief. However, at this time, there was no time for them to mourn. Just because Su Chen's voice suddenly sounded. Heaven and man are one. My heart is the heart of heaven. This voice was like the low hum of the 9 heavens god. The voice was not loud, but it clearly exploded in everyone's ears. Everyone was shocked and turned to look at Su Chen. At this time, Su Chen's body was suspended in the air, with no sadness or joy on his face. Heaven and man are one. My heart is the heart of heaven. At this moment, Su Chen succeeded in doing this. However, he seemed to no longer be Su Chen. His whole body exuded a sacred but indifferent aura. What's wrong with my eldest brother? Why does he look so strange? Cheng Xianzhen asked in shock. Zhang Tian's face was gloomy. Uncle Master used a secret method. At this moment, he should be merging with an ancient will of heaven and earth. He wants to borrow the power of heaven and earth and replace the will of heaven with his own heart. Naturally, he will be affected by the will of heaven and earth, or even assimilated. After all, this ancient will of heaven and earth is too strong, and it is not something that one person can resist. On the side, King Mei immediately asked anxiously, then Su Chen will not completely lose himself, right? Zhang Tian shook his head. It shouldn't be. After all, it will be difficult for Uncle Master to sustain this state for too long. Moreover, Uncle Master's original intention was to use this to deal with the strong men of the Liu family. Even if he looks assimilated, he should not forget this purpose. Sure enough, the next second, my heart is the heart of heaven. My anger is the anger of heaven. Su Chen's voice was very light. This voice was like the low hum of the sky, deafening. As soon as the voice fell, in the sky, the dark clouds that had just dispersed after the thunder tribulation gathered again. The terrifying thunder was brewing again. This time, the thunder was not the thunder brought by the 9 heavens thunder curse, but the real power of heaven. In front of this terrifying thunder, human beings are as small as dust in the universe. Everyone looked up at the terrifying existence that was like a god. Even though Zhang Tai'an and Cheng Xianxin had such knowledge, they couldn't help but feel scared. And Li Changfeng, the head of the Tiger Guard, had an unspeakable fear on his face at this time. It's not that Li Changfeng is timid, but the higher the realm, the more sensitive the perception of this crisis. Heavenly man, Chen Yuheng, whose eyes were cloudy, suddenly burst into a bright light. Compared with other strong men, Chen Yuheng is the terrifying evildoer who has been punished by the rules of heaven and earth. At this moment, even though she was in a daze and her memories of more than 10 years turned into flowing water, there was still a trace of solemnity in her eyes. Yuheng. Cheng Xianxin looked back instantly, as if he was surprised by Chen Yuheng's sudden awakening. However, the next moment, Cheng Xianxin's expression froze. Because, after Chen Yuheng said that, he was in a daze again. Still not awake. Cheng Xianxin murmured, the surprise in his eyes faded, and a hint of disappointment appeared. Boom boom boom. Under the terrifying power of heaven, everyone present felt that they were being stared at by a prehistoric beast. It seemed that in the next second, a mysterious and terrifying existence would suddenly jump out and devour them. Get out of the way, Li Changfeng screamed. Even though he was in master use formation, he was the first to feel the crisis coming. Hearing Li Changfeng's reminder, the strong men in Su Chen's camp subconsciously flashed away from the battlefield. They did not doubt Li Changfeng, who was in the late stage of the divine realm. In the blink of an eye, except for Li Changfeng who was still in the formation, the strong men in Su Chen's camp all withdrew from the battle. Seeing this, the strong men of the Liu family were a little confused, but they also subconsciously followed and retreated. They also didn't know what crisis would come next. Suddenly, boom. A terrifying thunder fell and hit a Liu family divine realm strong man. Ah! A shrill scream stopped abruptly. The Liu family's god-level strongman was directly shattered by the violent thunder. This scene made the Liu family's strongman's expression change drastically. Liu Shaoan and others also turned black and looked terrified. Chapter 854 Heavy Losses. A strong man in the early stage of the god realm was destroyed by thunder in the blink of an eye. The Liu family strongmen were like frightened birds. This time, there were quite a few Liu family strongmen in the god realm who came to encircle Su Chen. But there were not many who had the confidence to withstand such a terrifying thunder. As the first thunder fell, the thunder in the sky seemed to sense the aura and directly locked onto the Liu family strongmen. The hearts of the Liu family strongmen were suddenly covered with a shadow. They clearly had a feeling that they were being targeted. Boom. The Liu family strongmen didn't care about anything and scattered directly. Some people even ran towards others in a panic. A Liu family strongman in the god realm ran straight to Yuzhen Bei. Yuzhen Bei's face turned pale immediately. This is a thunder for him. Yuzhen Bei was so angry that his teeth itched. His face was ferocious, and he shouted angrily, "Get out! Go somewhere else, don't come to me." However, Yuzhen Bei's reminder was still a little late. The god realm expert was very fast. In an instant, he had already arrived beside Yuzhen Bei. Hellfire realm. Yuzhen Bei roared and directly used his special skills. Bang! The Liu family's god realm expert was directly blown away by the explosive force. The next second, boom. Thunder fell. It hit the Liu family expert who was blown away by Yuzhen Bei. Sizzle. I don't know if it was the heat wave of the Hellfire realm or the terrifying thunder, but the Liu family expert exuded the aroma of barbecue. Inspector Yu. The other experts of the Liu family were immediately furious. They didn't expect that Yuzhen Bei not only didn't help, but also attacked his fellow camp to save his life. However, before they could find trouble with Yuzhen Bei, another terrifying thunder fell from the sky, and its target was surprisingly accurate, which was the Liu family experts. The wrath of heaven and man. It is certainly the power of heaven and earth, but it is also the result of Su Chen's lock. Thunderbolts hit the Liu family masters with great precision. The Liu family masters could only try to dodge. This scene was extremely terrifying for the Liu family masters. But for those who were not locked by the thunderbolts, it was like watching whack-a-mole. The terrifying thunderbolts fell one after another, and each one accurately struck the Liu family masters. The Liu family masters had to try to resist while running away. It was not that the Liu family's divine realm was not strong enough, but that the power of this thunderbolt was too terrifying. Even compared to the previous waves of thunderbolts that Su Chen had experienced, it was not any worse. You know, the thunderbolt that Su Chen had just experienced was not even able to withstand the physical masters of the middle stage of the heavenly man realm. How much better can these ordinary Liu family masters be now? However, compared to the two unlucky guys Zhao Dezu and Wen Liang, there were more people to share the burden this time. When the thunderbolts were dispersed, not only was the power reduced, but the Liu family masters were not completely locked by the thunderbolts. Even so, the Liu family masters were not feeling well. Everyone was worried. They didn't know when a thunderbolt would suddenly fall from the sky and hit them on their heads. Seeing the miserable state of the Liu family's strong men, the strong men in Su Chen's camp were frightened. However, they were secretly glad that it was Su Chen who mastered this perverted secret technique, not the enemy. On the battlefield, the Liu family's strong men were still in a mess. There were also some strong men in the early stage of the god realm who had no confidence to resist the thunderbolt independently, so they could only join the strong men in the middle stage of the god realm. For a while, the strong men in the middle stage of the god realm in the Liu family camp had to dodge while guarding against their accomplices. Arsehole, get out of here. Zhu Guodong's face was at 10, and he cursed. Just because there was a strong man in the god realm coming towards him. Tiger roaring in the forest. Zhu Guodong suddenly punched out without holding back. The violent fist intent instantly condensed into a fierce tiger. The momentum of the king of beasts immediately stopped the Liu family's strong men. Although the Liu family's divine realm looked unhappy, he did not dare to forcefully approach Zhu Guodong. Boom. The next moment, a terrifying thunderbolt fell accurately. The unlucky Liu family's divine realm expert was directly struck. Puff. The energy defense around his body was like paper and was directly pierced by the thunderbolt. Ah. The Liu family's divine realm expert screamed. Then, he fell to the ground with a puff and lost his voice. Fortunately, I acted quickly. Zhu Guodong couldn't help but secretly rejoice. If he hadn't acted decisively, the thunderbolt would definitely have affected him. For a moment, the entire battlefield was completely in chaos. The Liu family's strongman tried his best to dodge, but he couldn't escape the locked attack of the thunderbolt. Damn it. Liu Shaoyan's eyes were solemn. In his heart, he even had the intention of retreating. If this continued, the Liu family's strongman would be annihilated. This was an action he was determined to win, but he didn't expect to have accidents again and again. Now, Liu Shaoyan was completely numb. But Liu Shaoyan was still a little unwilling. He knew in his heart that, although Su Chen could enter the state of unity between heaven and man, he would definitely not be able to last long. After all, he was just a spiritual master in the early stage of the divine realm. Under the influence of the will of heaven and earth, if he merged for a long time, he would definitely be in danger of being completely assimilated. Sure enough, in the center of the thunder pool, Su Chen, who was floating in it, showed a trace of painful struggle on his face. At this moment, his mind was swaying. Just because, in the ancient will of heaven and earth, a series of pictures impacted his memory. This made him feel completely out of control, and felt that he would lose himself at any time. No, I can't stand it. Su Chen whispered in his heart. Immediately, he released the state of unity between heaven and man. Bang! Su Chen fell to the ground, and the whole person was weak like a ball of mud. Brother, uncle, Su Chen. One after another exclamation sounded. One after another, the figures shot towards Su Chen like lightning. At this time, the strong men of the Liu family had no time to stop them. Because they finally don't have to run around, and can finally breathe a sigh of relief to treat those chosen ones chosen by thunder. This wave of wrath directly caused the strength of the Liu family's strong men to drop by more than 30%. Two mid-stage god realm strong men completely perished in the disaster. And the other Liu family strong men were also injured and could no longer exert their full strength. There were also many half-crippled god realm strong men. The people in Su Chen's camp did not look happy. Just because Su Chen's condition was also very bad. The third update is here. Today's update is over. Good night everyone. Thank you for your support. Chapter 855. Chaos in the provincial capital. Zhang Tai'an and others surrounded Su Chen tightly. Everyone had a worried look on their faces. I'm fine. Su Chen tried to maintain a smile. However, his weak voice still made everyone secretly worried. Layman, you. The corner of King Su and Taoist's mouth moved. He seemed to want to say something. However, King Su and Taoist looked around and saw so many people present, so he stopped the topic immediately. Master, what do you want to say? Su Chen frowned slightly. He saw that the old Taoist's face was quite cautious, and he didn't know what the old Taoist wanted to say. He didn't understand why King Su and Taoist suddenly stopped talking. No, nothing. The old Taoist shook his head. For a while, the battle in Kingsang Mountain temporarily entered a peaceful state. The misery of the Liu family camp naturally needs no further explanation. Since Su Chen resisted the Thunder Tribulation, Wen Liang and Zhao Desu fell directly. These two people are both powerful mid-stage gods. Moreover, they are not ordinary Yuan-Qi martial gods, but a flesh god and a spiritual immortal master. After Su Chen completely achieved unity with nature, several early-stage masters of the Liu family camp were killed by Su Chen using his divine power. Even the remaining masters of the divine realm who survived were mostly wounded, and their combat effectiveness was seriously damaged. At present, only Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodong were in a slightly better situation. They wanted to kill Su Chen while he was weak, but it was obviously not possible. Now, Su Chen's camp is still strong. Li Changfeng, the chief of the Tiger Guard, has escaped from Master Yu's formation. Zhang Tai'an and Cheng Xianzhen are both more powerful than ordinary mid-stage masters of the divine realm. As for King Mei, Zhang Jinqiu and Meng Diqiu, the three are also masters of the divine realm. There is also a recovered Taoist King Sun, whose strength should not be underestimated. As for Cheng Yuheng, no one counted her. After all, she looked a little delicate. Because of this, even if Su Chen is temporarily unable to fight, Su Chen's camp still has the upper hand. Faced with such a lineup, the Liu family, who were in a residual formation, did not dare to take action. The same is true for Su Chen's people. At present, Su Chen urgently needs time to recover. If he starts fighting now, I don't know if there will be any accidents. Moreover, the masters on Su Chen's side are different from the Liu family's masters. They are not Su Chen's subordinates, but more to help. Li Changfeng, King Mei, and Zhang Jinqiu have two special identities. If they can avoid taking action, the three of them don't want to be criticized. And Meng Diqiu is as timid as a mouse, a fence sitter. Let him fight a favorable battle, maybe it's okay. In a battle of equal strength, it is almost impossible to expect him to come out on top. On the side, Cheng Xianzhen is aggressive, but he alone is unlikely to stir up too much trouble. Zhang Tai'an and King Su and Lao Dao are both Taoist masters. If it weren't for Su Chen, they would never take action. At this time, as the backbone, Su Chen himself has fallen into an extremely embarrassing situation. The unity of man and nature is indeed very mysterious. Even at that moment, Su Chen also discovered many extraordinary things in this world. Unfortunately, with Su Chen's current strength, he could only hold on for a few breaths in the state of unity between man and nature, and could not comprehend it carefully. But it was these few breaths that completely drained Su Chen. For a while, on Kingsang Mountain, the two camps fell into a strange calm. However, the two sides of the war did not know that when the war broke out on Kingsang Mountain, there was also a big chaos in the capital of Dongzhou province. At this time, in the capital of Dongzhou province, a strange team of masters came aggressively. In a short time, they swept through all the major families. The provincial capital, the Li family. As one of the 8 major families in the provincial capital, the Li family is now ready to go. In the past, the 8 major families in the provincial capital were equally famous. Bai Yao, Zhu Rong, Li Wei, Han Han. However, because of Su Chen's sudden appearance, the Bai family, the Ran family, and the Zhu family were all attacked, and the masters and their families suffered heavy losses. On the other hand, although the Li family did not get along well with Su Chen, fortunately there was no violent conflict. Before the changes in the Bei, Rang, and Zhou families, the Li family was not ranked high among the 8 major families, and was even lagging behind. Now, the Li family has been able to rank among the top 3. However, Li Zhaoshu, the head of the Li family in the provincial capital, has always had a worry in his heart. That is, will Li Zhaolei from Bincheng use Su Chen's power to return to the provincial capital? If so, should he surrender to Su Chen in advance? After all, according to Li Zhaoshu's understanding of Su Chen, this guy is quite good to his own people. The Yao family, the Han family, and other families have all escaped several disasters because of Su Chen. And the Bei family, the Ran family, and the Zhou family have all fallen because of offending Su Chen. Should my Li family contact Su Chen in advance and show goodwill to him? Li Zhaoshu sat in the hall with a tangled look on his face. At this moment, a panicked voice came from outside. "Dad, it's bad. Someone is knocking on the door." The next second, Li Zhaoshu's son Li Chunming ran in a hurry. Swoosh! Li Zhaoshu stood up suddenly. He stared at his son, frowned and asked, "Come to our house. Could it be Su Chen? Didn't I tell you not to offend Su Chen recently and not to give him an excuse to attack us?" Li Zhaoshu was quite angry. Ever since he knew about Su Chen's record, he has repeatedly warned the clansmen not to offend Su Chen. "Dad, no. It's not Su Chen." Li Chunming shook his head repeatedly. Li Zhaoshu's face suddenly sank. "It's not Su Chen? Then who is so bold as to come to our Li family for trouble?" "It's some strange foreigners." Li Chunming's eyes were full of fear. "It seems that they are a little scared." "Foreigners?" Li Zhaoshu was stunned. He asked in confusion, "My Li family has no contacts with foreign countries. How could foreigners come to our house?" "Master Li, Patton is visiting." Before Li Chunming could answer, a deep voice suddenly exploded in his ears. A chilling breath came overwhelmingly. It was actually a powerful god. The next second, an old figure suddenly appeared in front of Li Zhaoshu and his son. First update. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 856 Li Family's Choice. Li Zhaoshu raised his eyes and stared at the old man who suddenly appeared in front of him. He was wearing a black robe and looked dignified. He had been in a high position for a long time. Looking at his appearance, although he was quite similar to the people of Lango, he was obviously a foreigner. What shocked Li Zhaoshu even more was the powerful aura emanating from this person. Even without making a move, Li Zhaoshu felt a little suffocated. "May I ask your name? What do you want to do for my Li family?" Li Zhaoshu spoke cautiously. The mysterious old man said straight to the point, "My name is Barton. I came to the Li family this time to trouble the head of the Li family for something." "What is it? Please tell me," Li Zhaoshu said in a deep voice. It must not be an easy thing for a strong man in the divine realm to come to the door. Barton said lightly, "I heard that the Li family is one of the 8 major families. It should be easy to ask the Li family to find someone for me, right?" Li Zhaoshu was stunned. He actually asked himself to find someone. "May I ask this gentleman, who do you want to find?" Li Zhaoshu did not agree immediately, but was secretly alert. An old man in the god realm with a foreign face came to Long Country to look for someone. It was a bit strange. "Su Chen." Barton slowly uttered 2 words, staring at Li Zhaoshu with a hawk-like gaze and asked, "I wonder if Master Li knows him?" "Su Chen?" Li Zhaoshu's face rose. How could Li Zhaoshu be unfamiliar with this name? The change in Li Zhaoshu's expression fell into Barton's eyes. He smiled faintly. "It seems that Master Li knows Su Chen." "That's right. Then ask Master Li to help me find this person." Li Zhaoshu's heart jumped. It's obvious. This Barton came to find Su Chen, which is definitely not a good thing. Now, I'm about to surrender to Su Chen. If I really help Barton, wouldn't it be completely offending Su Chen? Li Zhaoshu's heart was entangled. Finally, Li Zhaoshu clasped his fists and said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Barton. Although I have heard of Su Chen, I'm not very familiar with him. I'm afraid I can't help you." Li Xiaoshu politely refused. Really? Barton raised his eyebrows slightly. He smiled coldly and said, it seems that the head of the Li family also wants to be loyal to Su Chen like the Yao family and other families. Yao family? What did you do to them? Hearing the threatening words, Li Xiaoshu's heart sank. The Yao family, the Han family, the Wei family and other families are all forces close to Su Chen. During the period when the Bei family, the Rang family and the Zhou family were suppressed by Su Chen, their development momentum was very strong, far exceeding the past. Especially the Yao family, if it continues to develop at the current momentum, it may really become the leader of the 8 major families. Nothing. Barton said lightly, it's just that all the innate masters of their family have been abolished by me. You. Hearing this, Li Xiaoshu's pupils shrank. Barton's words were very threatening. If he dared to refuse, I'm afraid the end would not be good. Now, it's your turn. I hope the head of the Li family, don't let me continue to run to other families. Barton sneered and looked at Li Xiaoshu with a gloomy face. This. Li Xiaoshu was silent. Barton in front of him is certainly not easy to mess with. However, Su Chen must not be offended. The previous experience of the Rang family, the Bei family, and the Zhou family is right in front of him. Li Xiaoshu gritted his teeth. Mr. Barton, my Li family in the provincial capital is really not familiar with Su Chen. Barton's face sank. Since the head of the Li family is unwilling to cooperate, then I will be polite. As soon as the voice fell, his old palm was placed directly on Li Chunming's shoulder. It seemed that he would take action in the next second. Wait a minute. Li Chunming trembled with fear. He said in a panic, Mr. Barton, I know where Su Chen is. I will take you there. Shut up. Li Xiaoshu's face was full of anger. He was still weighing the pros and cons, but Li Chunming was so good that he made the decision privately. However, before Li Xiaoshu finished speaking, Barton blatantly hit out with a palm. Boom. A figure flew backwards and fell heavily to the ground. It was Li Xiaoshu. Puff. Li Xiaoshu fell to the ground, spurting out a mouthful of blood. He felt as if his internal organs were displaced and his bones were broken. Li Xiaoshu looked at Patton with a complicated expression. This old guy was so cruel that he seriously injured him just because of a disagreement. Even so, Patton seemed unsatisfied. He stepped forward again, as if he wanted to hit Li Xiaoshu directly. Puff. Li Chunming was so scared that his face turned pale, and he knelt down directly. Mr. Patton, please, don't hurt my dad. I'll take you to find Su Chen. Li Xiaoshu was so angry that his face turned blue and red. However, at this time he was no longer able to support himself. In the end, he could only close his eyes and collapse on the ground. Let's go, your dad won't die. Patton looked at Li Chunming with cold eyes. He said lightly, boy, you'd better not lie to me. Don't worry, I dare not. Li Chunming said repeatedly. Then, he gritted his teeth and led the way for Patton and others. On the other side, on Kingsang Mountain, Su Chen recovered a few breaths and finally recovered a little after the yin-yang spirit and the longevity key were activated frantically. On the opposite side, the strong men of the Liu family camp were still staring at Su Chen and others. Liu Shaoan's eyes were like a venomous snake, and no one knew what he was thinking. Su Chen was not in a hurry. He was not afraid that Liu Shaoan would not leave. Under his many designs, the enemy and us have changed from being overwhelming to being evenly matched. The strong men of the Liu family still can't do anything to him. Now, the longer he drags on, the more he can continue to recover. At this moment, ding-ling-ling, a cell phone rang suddenly. Su Chen was stunned. It was his own phone. When he saw the number, Su Chen was stunned again. It was a number he didn't recognize. Who? Su Chen's voice was still very weak. The continuous battles, coupled with the sequelae of the unity of man and nature, made him in a very bad state. Mr. Su, help. A panicked voice sounded on the phone. There were also bursts of urgent footsteps on the other end of the phone. What's going on? Who do you want me to save? Su Chen's face changed slightly. Although he didn't know who the other party was, he was still a little worried. After all, not many people knew his number. The second update is here. The update is over. I have something else to do today. I'm really sorry, there will be only 2 updates for now. Good night everyone. There will be at least 4 updates tomorrow. Thank you for your support. Good night. Chapter 857. Who is it? Even though Su Chen was always calm, he couldn't help but feel a little worried at this moment. No matter which of his relatives or friends got into trouble, he couldn't just sit back and watch. Across from him, the voice hurriedly said, Mr. Su, I'm Li Di, a servant of the Li family. Now, my master is seriously injured. Can you save him? Li Di's voice was filled with tears. Li family? What happened to old man Li Xiaolei? Su Chen frowned. Before, he had dealt with the Zhou family, the Jing family, and the Kan family in Bincheng. It can be said that the entire Bincheng is Su Chen's base camp, which can be said to be completely impregnable. And as Su Chen's relatives and friends, the Li family should not be offended by anyone who is blind. What's more, Li Xiaolei was seriously injured. Su Chen was very puzzled. Li Di hurriedly said, Mr. Su, it's not Li Xiaolei. We are not the Bincheng Li family, but the provincial capital Li family. The head of the family I'm talking about is Mr. Li Xiaoxiu. Li Xiaoxiu. Su Chen was stunned. A hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. It was not Su Chen's fault that he was surprised, but the relationship between the provincial capital Li family and him was average. In fact, it could be said that they were hostile. Why did the provincial capital Li family come to him for help? Su Chen asked. What happened? Li Di hurriedly explained. A group of masters suddenly came to our Li family and asked about the whereabouts of our master. Our master didn't tell us, so he was seriously injured by the leader. Li Di was also very smart. When introducing the situation, he did not forget to make a good impression for Li Xiaoxiu. Su Chen was stunned. The masters targeting the Li family were actually coming for him. Do you know who the other party is? Su Chen asked. Li Di shook his head. I don't know. The other party came to your door and wanted to find you. Mr. Su, please save our master. Su Chen nodded. Okay, I know. I will arrange someone to save your master. If Li Di hadn't said that the other party came for him, Su Chen would not have paid attention to Li Xiaoxiu. But since the Li family suffered because of him, with Su Chen's personality, he would naturally not sit idly by. Seeing Su Chen agreed, Li Di immediately thanked him profusely. Hang up the phone. Su Chen looked thoughtful. Now, he was in Kingsang Mountain, and the battle between the Liu family and him was not over. Su Chen wanted to leave here, but the Liu family's strong men would not give up. Besides, Su Chen was also unwilling to give up. Now that the two sides have not taken action, he can do his best to recover. The longer it takes, the more he recovers, and the harder it will be for the Liu family to get benefits. But the Li family. Moreover, Su Chen has another worry. Even the Li family was visited by a mysterious strong man. Then the Yao family, Han family and other families that are on good terms with him may also be in trouble. At this time, everyone in Su Chen's camp looked over. What happened? They also saw Su Chen's face and couldn't help but feel a little worried. Something happened in the provincial capital. Su Chen's eyes were solemn. The Li family in the provincial capital was attacked by an unknown strong enemy. What? Hearing Su Chen's words, Zhang Longhu and Meng Diqiu's eyes suddenly became solemn. Compared with others, the two were naturally more worried. Zhang Longhu had the Wu Meng under his command, and he was worried that the Wu Meng would also be attacked by strong men. Although Meng Diqiu was a lone ranger, he also had his own old friends and relatives. As for the others, they were much calmer. Li Changfeng, Qin Qingmei and Zhang Jinqiu were all personnel from official forces. As for Cheng Xianxin and Zhang Taiyan, there was even less need to worry. They were not from the provincial capital of Dongzhou province, and they had no concerns here at all. Moreover, whether it was the Cheng family, in Changjing or Xianxi Mountain, they were as solid as a rock, and were not afraid of anyone causing trouble. Su Chen looked at the two and said, don't worry, the other party should be targeting me. As he spoke, Su Chen picked up his mobile phone and called Bian Sanson. Hey, master, aren't you busy? Why did you call me suddenly? Bian Sanson was very surprised. Master Bian, I have something to trouble you and Dr. Lu. Are you available now? Su Chen went straight to the point. Bian Sanson didn't ask what it was, but patted his chest and said, Master, your matter is the most important. Just give the order, and I'll do it right away. Lu Daoken's voice came from the phone. Yes. Master has something to do, and the disciple will do the work. If you have anything to do, just tell me. Okay. Su Chen nodded. He said, now, I need you to go to the 5 major families of Yao, Wei, Han, Hang, and Li. Especially the Li family. Their head, Li Zhaoshu, seems to be seriously injured. You need to go there to treat him. By the way, go to the Wu Meng and Master Meng as well. You two should act separately as much as possible, and see which family has injured people, and rescue them, as soon as possible. Su Chen made all the arrangements in one breath. Hearing Su Chen's words, Bian Sanson and Lu Daoken were shocked. Master, did something happen? Bian Sanson's tone was full of worry. Su Chen said in a deep voice, I don't know the specific situation. You go and save people first. The first premise is to save the lives of the injured. As for the rest, I will talk about it after I go back. Bian Sanson and Lu Daoken nodded immediately. Okay, master. We will go right away. After arranging the affairs of the 5 major families, Su Chen hung up the phone. He turned his head slightly and looked at the Liu family again. Su Chen's eyes became solemn in an instant. Although he did not get detailed information, he could understand that the mysterious strong man who was sure to come this time must also come to trouble him. However, Su Chen was a little confused. Now, almost all the gods in Dongzhou province have gathered in Qingsang Mountain. Even the Liu family in Shangjing has come out in full force this time. In this case, what force can stir up trouble in the capital of Dongzhou province? Dongzhou province can no longer have such a strong force. Could it be Jinglin Villa? No. Their owner was seriously injured and fled. It is unlikely that there is a stronger existence. Could it be someone from Jiangnan province? Su Chen frowned. Soon, he shook his head secretly again. This time, 4 powerful gods came from Jiangnan province. Now, 2 have died, and 2 have been injured. According to common sense, Feng Horan and Zheng Bi should not have the courage to continue to cause trouble in Dongzhou province. Who else could it be? Su Chen was puzzled. First update. Chapter 858. Who is Su Chen? Su Chen was very confused. Why did such a powerful force suddenly emerge in Dongzhou, which was obviously empty? They were able to visit the Li family in the provincial capital and attack Li Zhaoshu. This proves that the other party has at least a powerful god. Moreover, it is very likely that the other party has more than one powerful god. Brother, have you thought of something? Cheng Xianson's eyes were full of concern. It seems that our trouble is coming. Su Chen's eyes were solemn. I guess there may be other powerful gods coming to kill us later. Hearing this, everyone's face changed. Now, the Liu family's strongmen are already very difficult to deal with. If another wave of powerful gods comes, a cloud of gloom appeared in everyone's heart. The continuous battles, coupled with the secret technique of harmony between man and nature, consumed too much of Su Chen. Whether it is vitality, mental strength, or physical strength, Su Chen has lost a lot. If Su Chen had not prepared healing pills, if Su Chen had not always had the vitality to repair himself, if Su Chen's spirit had not been constantly working to replenish himself, I'm afraid he would have fallen long ago. Su Chen is now extremely exhausted. It is difficult for him to participate in the battle in a short period of time. If there are really more powerful enemies coming, it is really a question whether other people can stop so many powerful people. Now, we can only fight against the enemy. I will take the time to recover. Su Chen comforted. Everyone nodded and said nothing more. Under Qingsang Mountain. Boy, are you sure that the boy named Su Chen is really here? Barton's face was gloomy. Li Chunming was like a chicken, being held in his hand. Senior, I can guarantee that Su Chen, that bastard, must be here. Li Chunming trembled all over, but still said with confidence. The battle on Qingsang Mountain was huge, and many spies of major forces in the provincial capital had already been found out. Boy, if you dare to lie to me, I will let you know how powerful the black magic is. Barton snorted coldly. Then, he continued to carry Li Chunming, and walk towards Qingsang Mountain. I dare not, I dare not. Li Chunming was so scared that he trembled all over. Although he had not personally experienced the black magic, he had heard of its horror. Not only that, just now on the way to Kingsang Mountain, everyone had asked someone for directions. As a result, the young man's words were slightly disrespectful, and Barton used a set of black magic on him. The young man's end was extremely miserable. Su Chen, you must stay in Kingsang Mountain. Otherwise, I will die. Li Chunming kept praying in his heart. He couldn't imagine how this old man named Barton would torture himself if Su Chen left. Soon, Barton and his group arrived at the foot of the mountain. Everyone was about to go up the mountain. Suddenly, Barton looked up and looked at this inconspicuous mountain. His eyes were solemn and his face was gloomy. Just because he actually felt an extremely powerful aura on Kingsang Mountain. Moreover, these powerful auras, there are more than one. After a little sensing, he found that there were more than 20 of them. What's going on? There are so many God Realm Masters on this ordinary hill. What are they doing? Barton muttered to himself. At the same time, the God Realm Masters on the mountain naturally sensed the vast aura below the mountain. Here they come. Su Chen's face changed slightly, and his heart skipped a beat. There were actually several God Realm Masters coming down the mountain. Moreover, the aura of the leader was as vast as the sea. The enemy is coming. Everyone looked at Su Chen. Their eyes became solemn. They had also sensed that the newcomer was definitely a strong enemy. It doesn't matter, we will stop them when they come. Su Chen slowly stood up and said indifferently, no matter who it is, kill one if one comes, and kill two if two come. Kill. Everyone shouted in a low voice. The worry in their eyes faded, and their fighting spirit instantly rose. The God Realm Masters of the Liu family were nervous. They also noticed that there were masters coming from the foot of Kingsang Mountain, and they didn't know whether they were enemies or friends. Soon, the faces of both camps changed, because the team of strong men at the foot of the mountain quickly rushed up Kingsang Mountain. In a flash, the group arrived at Kingsang Courtyard. Su Chen and others looked over. They saw that the people coming were led by the old man in a long robe, Barton. Behind him, there were 7 or 8 gods, and many masters of the innate realm. In an instant, everyone's face became solemn. This group of enemies was really powerful. Why is it him? Zhang Tian's pupils shrank. Master Zhang, do you know him? Su Chen frowned and asked. Uncle, this person is the Siamese national master. Zhang Tian frowned. Siamese national master? Su Chen raised his eyebrows and looked solemn when he heard it. How terrifying is his strength to be able to become a national master? The answer is obvious. Like Zhang Tian, although he is also known as the Heavenly Master and holds the reins of the Taoist sect, he is not a national master. Of course, this is also related to the fact that Dragon Country's martial arts are stronger. But no matter what, the identity of the old man in front of him as the Siamese national teacher still surprised Su Chen. Master Zhang, long time no see. Hearing Zhang Tian's voice, Patton smiled and clasped his fists. Zhang Tian bowed in return and said, National Master Patton has come from afar to visit my Dragon Country. I have not greeted you from afar. I'm so sorry for not welcoming you. Master Zhang, my visit today is not for official business, but for private matters. Patton sneered. Oh. Zhang Tian raised his eyebrows slightly. I don't know what private matters Master Patton came here for. Looking for someone, killing someone. Patton's voice suddenly turned cold. As soon as the words fell, he narrowed his eyes, and his murderous eyes swept across the audience. The next second, he shouted, who is Su Chen? Get out and die. Second update. Chapter 859. Despicable Liu family. Hearing Patton's words, everyone's eyes were fixed. Those who come with bad intentions will not come. The other party actually came to cause trouble for Su Chen. Su Chen said coldly, it's me. It's you. Patton's tone was cold, but a trace of surprise flashed across his face. It seemed that Su Chen's age also surprised him. I don't know why you are looking for me. Su Chen stepped forward, without a trace of fear in his eyes. Even though he was not in good condition at the moment, Su Chen would naturally not be a bit timid in front of the enemy. Haha. What do I want to do with you? Patton sneered, and he squeezed out a sentence from his teeth. Of course, it's to kill you. As for why I want to kill you, you should know it in your mind, right? Su Chen raised his eyebrows slightly and said, Su has never been abroad, and I don't know when I offended the national teacher. Haha. Patton sneered. It seems that Mr. Su doesn't want to admit it. It doesn't matter, I will make you admit it. Su Chen frowned slightly. He really couldn't remember when he had offended this old man. On the side, Zhang Taiyan's face was not very good. Uncle Master, this Siamese national master is very powerful. How could you have a grudge with him? Su Chen curled his lips and said, this is the first time I met him today. Perhaps they have other purposes. This. For a moment, Zhang Taiyan was also a little embarrassed. Siamese national master Patton, who is well versed in Buddhism, is extremely powerful. Even in Su Chen's heyday, he may not necessarily be able to defeat him. What's more, Su Chen is in such a bad state now. This is not Zhang Taiyan's raising others' ambitions and destroying his own prestige. It is because the situation of the martial arts world in Siam is completely different from that in China. If we talk about the overall strength of the martial arts world, how can a mere Siam be comparable to our great country? However, there are many sects and factions in the martial arts world of Dragon Country. The strong men in China frequently fight each other, and it is almost difficult to unite. But Siam is different. Their land area is smaller, and most of the cultivation resources are concentrated in the hands of a few strong men. As a result, the situation of the strong will always be strong, and the weak will always be weak appeared in Siam. As a national master, Patton enjoyed resources that were far beyond the reach of civilian warriors and sorcerers. In this case, not to mention that Siam is not a small country. Even a small country can produce a top-notch master. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Su Chen comforted softly. His mind was racing, secretly calculating how to deal with it. The Siamese national master was obviously different from the Liu family. After all, the Liu family was a dragon countryman, and they would be afraid of the Cheng family and Qianqi mountain. But Patton in front of him were definitely not. If they really started fighting, they would even dare to kill anyone. After all, even if they really caused casualties to the Cheng family and Qianqi mountain, Patton could escape back to Siam after killing people. In addition, there was another problem, that is, it involved foreign masters, and their status was extremely high. It would be inappropriate for Li Changfeng, Qin Qingmei and Zhang Jinqiu to take action. If things went wrong, there might be disputes between countries. After all, Patton made it very clear. He came here for a personal matter. In this way, the only ones who can fight with all their strength in Su Chen's camp are Cheng Xiansun, Zhang Taiyan and Meng Diqiu. Su Chen's condition has not yet fully recovered. Even if he wants to take action, his strength is only 1/10 of what it is. And Taoist Kingsuan is from Kingsang Mountain. It is unknown whether he will take action. After all, he is not deeply involved with both parties. As for Cheng Yuheng, although her elm is not low, Su Chen can't count her in. After all, she is no different from a child now. The Liu family, on the other hand, still has the strength to fight. However, these people wish Su Chen would die sooner, so how could they help Su Chen out of trouble? For a while, no matter how Su Chen calculated, he found it very tricky. It's not that he was not well prepared, but that Patton's group of people came too strangely. This group of people came at the wrong time. They traveled thousands of miles from Siam to the capital of Dongzhou province to cause trouble. They are really brave. When did I become so hated that even foreigners come to cause trouble for me? Su Chen complained in his heart. Suddenly, a flash of lightning flashed in Su Chen's mind. Foreigners? Is it him? He finally figured out why he and Patton had never met, but the other party came from afar to kill him. Before, Fang Bingbang was surrounded and killed, and Su Chen received a distress signal. That time, Fang Bingbang was besieged by a group of Siamese masters. Su Chen arrived and worked together with Zhang Jinqiu to kill many Siamese masters. Among them, the names of 3 people made him remember deeply. One of them was Duan in the middle stage of the God Realm. There was also Master Nache who raised a little ghost, and there was Prince Patton of Siam. Could it be that? Thinking of this, Su Chen suddenly felt enlightened. No wonder this Siamese national teacher would come in person. The prince was dead. How could he not come? Barton saw Su Chen's expression and his eyes suddenly turned cold. Do you know why you deserve to die? Su Chen was about to speak. At this time, Zhang Jinqiu's mobile phone suddenly rang with a text message alert. She lowered her head and opened it. The next second, Zhang Jinqiu looked up suddenly, and her whole body exploded with murderous aura. It turned out to be you. Siamese State Master, you really deserve to die. As soon as the voice fell, before Su Chen could make a move, Zhang Jinqiu had already killed Barton. Barton's face froze. He didn't expect that before the main culprit Su Chen made a move. This watching the show woman actually took the initiative to make a move. Su Chen looked at Zhang Jinqiu. Even if Zhang Jinqiu didn't speak, Su Chen already understood everything. Obviously, Zhang Jinqiu already had accurate information. Kill. Su Chen didn't waste words. Everyone immediately took action. Cheng Xianzhen was about to make a move, but Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodong made a move directly and blocked him. Master Cheng Qi, your opponent is us. Cheng Xianzhen was very angry, but he could do nothing. Before Zhang Taiyan could move, several Liu family warriors blocked his way. Haha. Master Zhang, attacking foreign guests is not in line with the etiquette of a great country. Li Changfeng did the same. Several Liu family warriors blocked his way. Li Weizhang, although you are strong, I think it is better not to wade into muddy waters. Liu Shaoan arranged with a smile. At one time, the Liu family warriors attacked together. The third update. There is another update, which will be sent out soon. Chapter 867 Wounds Fist. Liu Shaoan was full of smug smiles. The Siamese people came at the right time, and directly broke the balance between Su Chen and the Liu family camp. Now, he only needs to arrange people to stop the strong men in Su Chen's camp at this critical moment. In this way, someone will put Su Chen to death for him. Seeing this, Barton immediately grinned. Su Chen, it seems that you are not very popular. Today, you are doomed. Su Chen said coldly, I'm afraid it may not be as you wish. Having said that, Su Chen's face was still very solemn. Now, the situation is extremely bleak. If it was only the Liu family, it would be fine. If it was only the Siamese strongman, it would be fine too. But now, the two sides are in collusion, and the situation is very bad. Although the Liu family's Divine Realm strongmen suffered heavy losses, there are still many Divine Realm strongmen who can take action. And these strongmen in Siam are in their prime at this time. Two fists cannot beat four hands, and a hero cannot stand up to a large number of people. Not to mention Su Chen and others after the war. Even at their prime, it is difficult to stop the strong enemies on both sides. Today, I will make your soul fall into the underworld. Barton stared at Su Chen coldly and shouted angrily. As soon as the words fell, Barton chanted the Buddha's name, and a strange rosary appeared in his hand. Kill. Su Chen shouted and rushed forward. At this time, he no longer cared about the possibility of damaging his foundation. Theoretically, Su Chen is not suitable for fighting now. But fortunately, he has recovered for a while. Under normal circumstances, he might rest and recuperate, and never take action. After all, damaging the foundation of martial arts is really not a risk. But now, the Siamese national teacher wants to fight him to the death, and he can't avoid it. Moreover, Su Chen's relatives and friends around him took action to protect him, so Su Chen naturally couldn't sit back and watch them die. This is not Su Chen's character. Su Chen's eyes were solemn, and he gritted his teeth. 7 Wounds Fist. Even if Su Chen was unwilling, he could only use this set of boxing. If it was a normal battle, Su Chen would almost be exhausted and couldn't muster much strength. But the 7 Wounds Fist was different. The 7 Injury Fist comes from the Qingshan sect and is a required boxing technique for the senior members of the Qingshan sect. It has its own unique features to become the foundation of a sect. Compared with ordinary combat techniques, the 7 Injury Fist hurts 1000 enemies and hurts 800 of oneself, which seems to be quite unprofitable. But from another perspective, it can also stimulate potential and transform the internal energy into 7 different kinds of energy. Moreover, the 7 Injury Fist can hit the target from a distance. It does not cause serious external injuries, but has a greater impact on the internal organs. Su Chen suddenly activated the 7 Injury Fist. For a while, Su Chen felt a cramp in his internal organs. This was the backlash of him forcibly activating the 7 Injury Fist to tap into the potential of his body. Su Chen endured the huge pain, gritted his teeth, and then punched out. Boom. However, this time, Su Chen's punch was slightly different from before. I don't know if Su Chen's practice of the 7-injury fist was a natural result, or if he had just experienced the unity of man and nature, and suddenly had a glimmer of enlightenment. He suddenly had a flash of inspiration, and when he threw the 7-injury fist, he integrated his spirit, energy, and spirit into it like the divine will fist. Boom. This punch was thrown out, and it was another punch. Moreover, it was a completely different punch from the phantom of Yaodao Mountain. 7 streams of energy, like 7 colors of silk, rushed towards Patton fiercely. Su Chen was not too happy about this change. After all, his current opponent was the Siamese state master. "I had golden body," Patton shouted. Suddenly, his wrinkled skin instantly became full. Moreover, it also emitted a faint golden light. Seeing this scene, Su Chen's eyes became more solemn. This Siamese state master is indeed not simple, and he actually has such a body protection secret technique. Su Chen is a physical master in the heaven realm, and he has the secret technique of the unbeatable golden body. His physical body is quite strong. But now, he keenly noticed, Patton's physical defense is not inferior to his own in his prime. You know, Patton is an old man. It is not easy for such an old man to have such vigorous blood. But no matter what, Su Chen must not retreat in this battle. "Kill," he shouted. The 7 wounds fist turned into 7 rays of light. Like a split rainbow, with different colors, it rushed straight to Patton. King Kong's angry eyes. Patton's face changed slightly. He chanted a strange formula, and then slapped it. Fist and palm, approaching at a very fast speed. Before they met, the terrifying momentum seemed to cover half of the sky. The other people in the battle were shocked when they saw this scene, especially the strong men of Shangjing Liu family. Before, they had thought about taking advantage of Su Chen's weakness and fighting to take down Su Chen. Now it seems that everyone is secretly glad in their hearts. At the same time, they are more afraid of Su Chen. At such a desperate moment, he can still burst out with terrifying fighting power, which is really terrible. But the strong men on Su Chen's side are completely different. Everyone's face showed worry. They knew Su Chen's situation quite well. They also knew that Su Chen was consuming his own potential. If he won this battle, it would be fine. If Su Chen lost, then the consequences would be disastrous. Bang! A fist and a palm collided fiercely. Boom! The violent force, like a thunder, suddenly exploded. The ground collapsed instantly. The terrifying recoil force, like an invisible ripple, spread fiercely in all directions. Thump thump thump. Su Chen staggered and took several steps back. There was no blood on his face. On the other hand, Master Patton, although he also took several steps back, but there was no change on his old face. Damn it. Su Chen's heart sank slightly. This Siamese Buddhist master was indeed extraordinary, and his strength was so strong. Su Chen was not an arrogant person, and naturally understood the truth, that there are people beyond people, and there are heavens beyond heavens. However, the strength of this Siamese master was still beyond his expectations. The punch he just threw was almost as good as his peak. However, the effect was not satisfactory. "Kill." Su Chen gritted his teeth and shouted again. He attacked again. Still the 7 wounds fist. Su Chen felt a burst of severe pain in his body. But he didn't care about it. Now, he could only grit his teeth and fight to the end. The 4th update is here. The update is over. Good night everyone. Thank you for your support. Chapter 861 Shameless Means. Su Chen punched out again. However, facing Su Chen's move, the Siamese national master was still relaxed. King Kong's angry eyes. Barton hit again with the same move. Bang! Another collision broke out between the two. Boom. A loud noise. The terrifying power exploded instantly. Cracks suddenly appeared on the ground. The result of this collision was similar to the previous one. Thump, thump, thump. Su Chen retreated again and again. His face flushed. Pain attacked his internal organs. However, it was not life-threatening for the time being. Barton was the same. However, he came in his prime and had a long breath. In comparison, his condition was much stronger than Su Chen. Su Chen's face was gloomy. In the current situation, he could only continue to hold on. Come again. The tick collided fiercely again and fought quickly. The terrifying power burst wildly. On the other side, others were also fighting, especially Zhou Wanqiu. At this time, she was like a crazy woman, and she didn't care about her image, and wanted to fight the Siamese national master. However, she was intercepted by other powerful Siamese gods. Therefore, Zhou Wanqiu could only vent all her anger on these people. Kill. Zhou Wanqiu shouted angrily and attacked ruthlessly. Every move was done with all her strength. At this time, she no longer had the temperament of a noble lady in the past, and her killing intent was almost condensed into substance. Compared with other people, Zhou Wanqiu hated these Siamese masters very much. Before, it was these people who attacked Fang Dingbang. If Su Chen had not arrived in time during the sneak attack by the Siamese masters, Fang Dingbang and she would probably have died. When enemies meet, they are particularly jealous. Therefore, Zhou Wanqiu no longer cares about anything and attacks ruthlessly. With her status, it is conceivable how deep her hatred is when she makes such a move. Several Siamese masters who fought with her were immediately in a panic. The battles of others were also very fierce, especially Li Changfeng, the chief of the Tiger Guard. Li Changfeng knew that Su Chen was not in good condition and wanted to support him. However, Liu Shaoan arranged for the Liu family's strong men to hold him back. Li Changfeng's face was ugly, and he was no longer merciful when he attacked. Every time he attacked, the Liu family's strong men felt frightened. After a few encounters, Liu family's strong man in the early stage of the divine realm was injured. You guys, go and hold Li Changfeng back. Liu Shaoan hurriedly arranged. Several Liu family strong men rushed to Li Changfeng. This time, Qin Qingmui and Meng Diqiu's pressure was greatly reduced. However, Qin Qingmui was originally in the early stage of the divine realm. Even if she wanted to save Su Chen desperately, she could not break through the blockade of the Liu family's strong men. Meng Diqiu's combat power was not strong, and his heart was even weaker. He could not handle the heavy responsibility, and could only simply share the pressure. There were also Zhang Taiyan and Cheng Xiansun, whose strength was not weaker than that of the middle stage of the divine realm. However, in Liu Shaoan's eyes, these two people were the same as Li Changfeng, and they needed to arrange more strong men to take care of them. Even if the two were powerful, it was difficult for them to get rid of the blockade in an instant. This time, Liu Shaoan had made up his mind to kill someone with a borrowed knife. Therefore, Su Chen would not be allowed to borrow any help. Even Taoist King Xuan could hardly lend a hand. At this time, the only strong man who did not take action on Su Chen's side was Cheng Yuheng. At this time, Cheng Yuheng's originally ignorant face was full of anxiety. The Liu family was also very afraid of Cheng Yuheng. They had wanted to take action against Cheng Yuheng several times. However, they finally suppressed this idea. Because Liu Shaoan had vaguely guessed Cheng Yuheng's identity, although he didn't know why Cheng Yuheng was like this. But if she got into trouble at the hands of the Liu family, the Cheng family would not let it go. However, the Liu family knew Cheng Yuheng, but the strong men of Siam did not, especially the innate strong men of Siam. They could not participate in the battle of the masters of the divine realm. However, if they could make some contributions and win the favor of the national teacher, they were still willing to do it. Moreover, they had noticed it a long time ago. From the beginning of the battle, Cheng Yuheng's eyes had been on Su Chen. When Su Chen was repelled by the national teacher, the beautiful woman seemed to want to rush forward. This beautiful woman is in the same group with that Su Chen. Catch her. Use her to threaten. Several Xianshan realm powerhouses shouted and rushed directly towards Cheng Yuheng. Ah! Cheng Yuheng screamed, frightened by the ferocious appearance of several people. Su Chen and Cheng Xiansun heard the scream, turned around and looked, and were immediately furious. You are looking for death. Cheng Xiansun's eyes were full of murderous light. He gritted his teeth, and wanted to rescue immediately. Asshole, let's see who dares. Su Chen's eyes were cold. Before, when Cheng Xianfeng left Dongzhou, he personally handed Cheng Yuheng to him to take care of. If Cheng Yuheng got into trouble, Su Chen didn't know how to face Cheng Xianfeng in the future. Seeing Su Chen and Cheng Xianxun's reaction, a group of Siamese Xiantian realm powerhouses became more and more proud. It seems that this beautiful woman is really important. One of the bold powerhouses, with a grim smile in his eyes, approached Cheng Yuheng step by step. He even began to imagine that, if he could capture this little girl, could he force Su Chen to tie his hands. If he succeeded, he would be the biggest hero of this battle. Even those adults at the level of the god realm were not as good as him. Little girl, don't be afraid. The bold strong man's eyes were full of teasing. In his opinion, Cheng Yuheng was a lamb to be slaughtered. Cheng Yuheng exclaimed, his face full of horror. Stop. Taoist King Xuan also looked anxious and wanted to break out of the siege. Taoist King Xuan also liked people like Cheng Yuheng who were so talented. But what could he do? Taoist King Xuan was also entangled tightly. Hehe. The Siamese warrior laughed strangely. He felt that he had already taken this beautiful woman. If he became the biggest hero of this battle, after returning to Siam, the royal family would reward him without saying anything. It is even possible that he would be favored by the national teacher and ascend to the god realm in one step. From the innate realm to the god realm, it seems to be only one step away, but in fact it is a natural chasm. Even in the Dragon Kingdom, it was still like this. It would be even more difficult for Siam to advance. Although threatening a woman was unfair, it was a shortcut for him to achieve success. Little beauty, come here. First update. Chapter 862 Killing Cheng Yuheng. The Siamese warrior approached Cheng Yuheng. Looking at the fairy-like woman in front of him, a filthy light appeared in his eyes. Damn it. This scene made the people who were fighting tear their eyes out, and their murderous intent was even stronger. Such a despicable method was not acceptable to even some Liu family warriors. However, they were stopped by their companions. No other reason. For the Liu family, as long as it can cause trouble to Su Chen, no method is excessive. What's more, Cheng Yuheng's humiliation has nothing to do with the Liu family. It was all done by the people of Siam. And they just watched the Cheng family Xian Jiao being insulted quietly. What a beautiful woman. The bold warrior's eyes became more and more obscene. Cheng Yuheng was already beautiful. When observed from a close distance, she was even more breathtakingly beautiful. Not to mention this bold warrior, even Su Chen at the time almost lost his mind. At this moment, the closer the bold warrior got, the harder his heart beat. If it weren't for the battlefield, he even wanted to execute Cheng Yuheng on the spot. Even an old monk with profound Taoism might not be able to resist such a fairy-like woman. Not to mention this bold warrior. No. Even if I can't do it on the spot, I have to satisfy my desire to do it. The bold warrior looked anxious. I will kill you. Cheng Xianxun's eyes were red with anger. He tried to break out of the siege several times, but was always blocked by Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodang. The purpose of these two people was to kill Su Chen. They didn't care about the origin of this beautiful woman. Although they were inspectors of the dragon slaying guard and patrolmen of the tiger capturing guard, they were not familiar with the Cheng family. Maybe they had heard that the Cheng family had a peerless genius, but they would never associate the Cheng family pearl with Cheng Yuheng in front of them. After all, the Cheng family genius was high above, but a spiritual fairy master in his early 20s. That was a peerless genius. How could he be with Su Chen? And he looked like he had a low IQ. The bold warrior was getting closer and closer to Cheng Yuheng. A hand covered with black hairs touched Cheng Yuheng's delicate face. In an instant, Cheng Xianxun's eyes turned red. Little beauty, brother will take you back to Siam, and you will have fun then. The bold warrior laughed out loud. Chen, help, help. Cheng Yuheng's voice was a little stuttering. It was a subconscious reaction under fear. However, Su Chen was unable to take care of himself. In front of Patton, the Siamese national teacher, he was already weak and naturally had no advantage. Save you? The Siamese warrior sneered. Even if the gods come, they can't save you. Don't be afraid. Come. Let brother touch it. Maybe brother will soften his heart and won't kill you. Ha ha ha. Looking at the bald man with a dirty face, Cheng Yuheng retreated again and again. The fear in his eyes became more and more intense. Come here. The bold warrior suddenly stretched out his hand. Cheng Yuheng's face changed drastically, and he screamed, ah. Along with a scream, a violent mental force suddenly erupted. In an instant, it was like a mountain torrent, rushing into the Niwen palace of the bold warrior. The previous second, the bold warrior's face was still full of sinister smiles. The next second, a tyrannical mental force directly burst his Niwen palace. Puff, a crisp sound. The bold warrior's eyes shed blood and tears, and the whole person froze in place. The next moment, the scene that made the pupils of the Siamese strongman shrink happened. Puff. The bold warrior fell directly to the ground, and there was no sound. Mu Yantu is dead. This woman killed Mu Yantu. How is it possible? The other Siamese Xianshan realm warriors were stunned in place, looking at Chen Yuheng with fear. They never thought that this seemingly harmless beauty in front of them would have such terrifying strength. Even, they were not sure whether it was the little girl who did all this. This scene was really weird. However, this made everyone in Su Chen's camp feel relieved. Cheng Xianxin breathed a sigh of relief. Although he was still worried, his expression eased a little. Su Chen's eyes also changed. He didn't expect that Chen Yuheng could still respond to stress after losing his memory. Speaking of which, it's not surprising. A powerful person in the god realm will always make his own response when encountering a crisis. Chen Yuheng did lose her memory, but her cultivation was still there. Now she is still a spiritual master in the god realm. However, Chen Yuheng at this time only had power, but forgot how to use mental power. At this time, the Siamese national teacher also noticed Chen Yuheng's situation. He had a very sharp eye, and immediately found something unusual. No, this beautiful woman is a powerful person in the god realm. But her condition is not right. Kill her quickly. A group of Siamese innate strongmen received the order and immediately took action. They didn't believe that they couldn't kill a spiritual master with brain problems with so many people. No, don't. Chen Yuheng's eyes were full of panic. Even though she lost control and killed a bold Xianshan realm strongman, she still didn't recover her memory. Her situation was too special. Although the strength was there, she couldn't use it. And this was also the reason why a group of Siamese Yuan-Ki masters dared to attack her, a divine realm. Yuheng, kill them quickly. Cheng Xianxin's eyes were wide open. He didn't know if Chen Yuheng could withstand so many Xianshan realms. If it was Chen Yuheng in a normal state, he certainly wouldn't have to worry. But now Chen Yuheng. Seeing this, Su Chen hurriedly reminded him, Yuheng, keep thinking in your mind, and beat them up. Chen Yuheng was a little confused when she heard Su Chen's reminder. She screamed while waving her turtle fist. That posture didn't look like the Cheng family Xianjiao at all. The Xianshan realm warriors of Siam were immediately relieved. Such a woman who can only swing a tortoise fist is no threat to them, even if she is a spiritual master in the divine realm. However, the illusion is beautiful, but the reality is cruel. The next second, they paid a heavy price. Second update. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 863. What is this? Chen Yuheng's cuckold punch certainly didn't have much power. However, her mental power was real. Chen Yuheng was not an ordinary woman, or even an ordinary spiritual master. She was the only spiritual master who practiced yin and yang like Su Chen. After Su Chen's reminder, she could still burst out with terrifying mental power even in this unconscious state. This kind of mental strength was like an avalanche that was difficult to resist for ordinary Xianshan realm masters. In the blink of an eye. My head hurts. Help. The Xianshan realm masters from Siam who surrounded Chen Yuheng screamed one after another. Then, they bled from all 7 orifices and fell to the ground. This strange scene frightened the remaining masters and they all stopped. No one could have imagined that this woman with a beautiful face could have such a magnificent mental power. Su Chen was relieved. However, at this moment, kill. A loud shout suddenly rang out. A ghostly figure suddenly appeared behind Chen Yuheng. Bang! He hit Chen Yuheng's back hard with a palm. Puff! Chen Yuheng vomited blood and staggered. Everyone was shocked that it was a Siamese god realm strongman who attacked Chen Yuheng. If Chen Yuheng was in normal condition, He would not be easily defeated by this god realm strongman. But now, Chen Yuheng has lost his combat experience and was directly injured by a blow. The Siamese god realm strongman is too despicable. Seeing Chen Yuheng vomiting blood and injured, Chen Xianzhen was immediately angry. Yuheng, he shouted angrily, his eyes red. He turned his head suddenly and yelled at Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodang, "You two, get out of here." In an instant, a monstrous murderous intent filled the air in an instant. Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodang looked at each other with heavy eyes. Now, they have basically guessed Chen Yuheng's identity. Both of them were shocked and a little embarrassed. But if they were asked to stop now, it would be even more difficult for the two to accept it. Finally, they gritted their teeth. Hellfire Realm. The tiger is coming down the mountain. The two men attacked together again, but they chose to go all the way. Since they have offended, then they will offend them to death. Anyway, there is still the Liu family blocking them. More importantly, if they cannot take this opportunity to get rid of Su Chen, they will be settled by Su Chen in the future, based on the grudges between the two of them and Su Chen. The strong man from Siam attacked Chen Yuheng, which was a good opportunity to force Su Chen to surrender. "You deserve to die." Chen Xianzhen was furious. These two bastards actually wanted to stop him from helping at this time. As soon as the voice fell, Chen Xianzhen gritted his teeth. He spit a mouthful of blood from the tip of his tongue on the extremely cold glass cover in his hand. In an instant, the extremely cold glass cover burst into dazzling precious light. But a violent force suddenly erupted, and it actually forced the two people back directly. The grade of the extremely cold glass cover is not low, even stronger than Yan Maohua's Sinan. Under Chen Xianzhen's urging at all costs, Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodang could no longer stop him. However, just when Chen Xianzhen repelled the two and wanted to rush towards Chen Yuheng. "Where are you going?" The Liu family's divine realm strongman actually surrounded him again. "Arsehole." Chen Xianzhen gritted his teeth. On the side, Liu Shaoan's face showed no joy, anger, sorrow, or happiness. Before, he had been weighing the pros and cons. The Cheng family, the Fengshu of Shangjing, is not easy to offend. If it is not a last resort, it is better not to touch the people of the Cheng family. But now, the situation is already difficult to get off the tiger. Since it has come to this, let's just stop hiding it. Catch him alive. Liu Shaoan gave a direct order. Suddenly, other Liu family strongmen rushed towards Chen Yuheng. For a while, the situation on Chen Yuheng's side became worse and worse. However, the pressure on Li Changfeng, Qin Qingmei and others was greatly reduced, but it was difficult for them to win in a short time. They were besieged before, and even though they were strong, the consumption of a battle was not small. Now they want to help, but there are still strong people around to delay. "Get out of my way." Chen Xianzhen was the most anxious. He performed one array after another, but they were quickly broken. The Liu family also had 2 array masters on this trip. One was Yan Maohua, and the other was Master Yu. In terms of array cultivation, Yan Maohua was naturally better. But at this time, he was trying to delay Zhang Tian. The 2 Liu family masters in the early stage of the divine realm turned around to deal with Chen Xianzhen. Chen Xianzhen certainly had a treasure like the extreme cold glaze cover, and under the rampage, he forced to exert greater power, but he was still at a disadvantage under the siege of 5 strong men. Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodang were both in the middle stage of the divine realm. There was also a master of array, Master Yu. Although Master Yu was slightly inferior to Chen Xianzhen in the array, but with the delay of the strong people in the divine realm, breaking the array was not a big problem. What's more, the 2 powerful gods who had delayed Zhang Tian before were also attacking Chen Xianzhen. In this case, Chen Xianzhen was in danger step by step, not to mention fighting his way out of the siege. Su Chen was anxious. He wanted to help, but his body was already weak. What's more, there was also Master Patton blocking him. For a while, Chen Yuheng could only shout and scream, while subconsciously stimulating his mental power to fight back desperately. This kind of unsystematic battle, if it was against the Xiantian realm, would naturally have an advantage in realm. But now, Chen Yuheng's opponent is already in the god realm. Moreover, there are 2 powerful gods besieging her. As the battle went on, Chen Yuheng's situation became worse and worse. There were many more gaps on her skirt. and this was also done intentionally by the Siamese god realm. Although Cheng Yuheng's combat power was not strong, her violent mental power was raging around her, and the Siamese strongmen did not dare to ignore her and fight her to death. Since they couldn't take down Cheng Yuheng in an instant, they used this method to anger the people in Su Chen's camp. Cheng Yuheng's snow-white skin was exposed. Although it was not too exposed, it also made Cheng Xianxin furious. This is his precious niece. He was afraid of dropping her if he held her in his hands, and afraid of melting her if he held her in his mouth. But now, she was being bullied like this. Asshole, you force me to do this. Cheng Xianxin's eyes burst with murderous intent. In an instant, a bone-chilling chill penetrated his body. At this moment, the four great gods and Master Yu who were fighting against Cheng Xianxin seemed to see a prehistoric beast awakening. The extremely fierce killing intent made them shudder even with their cultivation. What is this? The third update is here. The update is over. Good night, everyone. Thank you for your support. Chapter 864 Bluffing. The eyes of the surrounding strong men were full of fear. This was not because they were not firm in their character. Rather, this kind of coldness in their bones could not be stopped by anyone. Cheng Xianxin shouted. Extremely cold glazed cover. Kill. Suddenly, a terrifying light burst out from the extremely cold glazed cover. The extremely cold glazed cover was originally a very top grade Feng Shui magic weapon. In the past, it could burst out with extraordinary power in Cheng Xianxin's hands. What's more, now Cheng Xianxin is also performing a secret technique. In an instant, the entire battlefield seemed to be covered by ice. The temperature suddenly dropped up and down Kingsang Mountain, as if it was trapped in an endless ice era. Even though most of the people on the battlefield at this time were masters of the god realm, they couldn't help but shudder. And this is just the auxiliary effect of the extremely cold glazed cover. The real killer move is still behind. A crisp cracking sound was heard. Everyone's eyes immediately looked at the magic weapon in Cheng Xianxin's hand. Could it be that? Cheng Xianxin had a blank expression on his face, but there was a hint of cruelty in his eyes. Get up, he shouted. But an invisible wave spread in all directions. The faces of the five powerful gods changed, and on the extremely cold glass cover, a strong force burst out. The next second, the terrifying power of the magic weapon condensed into 5 blue dragons. Boom, 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 boom. The 5 dragons rushed up and down and rushed directly towards the 5 people. Seeing this scene, the 4 powerful gods and Master Yu's pupils shrank at the same time. In their eyes, there was a look of fear. The reason why magic weapons are called magic weapons is that they have their own spirituality, and this is also the source of their strength. Generally speaking, no one will choose to destroy the magic weapon in their hands. After all, the improvement of magic weapon to a warrior is really too great. It can even be said that a powerful magic weapon is the capital for higher level warriors to settle down. Moreover, even a strong man in the god realm cannot completely destroy a powerful magic weapon, unless he is a magician who is proficient in formations. A magician is proficient in formations and can use magic weapons calmly. He can also break the condensed formation patterns on the magic weapon and detonate it in a corresponding way. Su Chen once detonated the formation plate and took the opportunity to seriously injure Huang Sanson. The withered monk also once self-destructed the formation and escaped with Su Chen's manual operation. However, the power of self-destructive magic weapons is more terrible than self-destruction, formation plates and formations. The formations engraved on the formation plates are generally of a lower level. Although the formations are not weak, most of them are used once. Cheng Xianxin's Feng Shui magic weapon is not only made of precious materials, but also engraved with advanced and complex formations, and can even be carried around for breeding. Now, Cheng Xianxin is fighting against the damage of the magic weapon to activate the extremely cold glass cover, and the power is naturally not to be underestimated. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 5 blue dragons rushed over at a high speed. It seems that they are not a big threat. However, how dare the 5 powerful gods take risks so easily? In an instant, the 5 people who besieged Cheng Xianxin retreated and dodged together. At this moment, whoosh, Cheng Xianxin finally broke through the siege, and the 5 blue dragons slowly dissipated in the air. Yuzin Bei and Zhu Guodan were stunned and turned to look at Cheng Xianxin. However, a trace of sarcasm appeared on Cheng Xianxin's face. Stupid. Cheng Xianxin gave them a middle finger. You were fooled. He was just pretending just now. He didn't destroy the magic weapon at all. Yang Maohua's voice came from afar. But it was too late at this time. Cheng Xianxin had already escaped. What? The 5 masters of the gods suddenly looked ugly. And another formation master, Master Yu, also turned red. He is also a great formation master, but he was fooled by Cheng Xianxin. If it were normal, Cheng Xianxin would definitely mock them crazily. But now Cheng Yuheng is still in danger. Cheng Xianxin has no time to provoke these guys. Whoosh. Cheng Xianxin has rushed to Cheng Yuheng. Seeing his niece's miserable appearance up close, Cheng Xianxin's heart was full of anger. Get out. You are looking for death. Cheng Xianxin roared. The next second, he held the extremely cold glass cover and rushed directly into the battle group. Seeing Cheng Xianxin coming aggressively, the Siamese God Realm strongman who attacked Cheng Yuheng suddenly changed his face. Although they have never fought with Cheng Xianxin, but Cheng Xianxin's momentum also makes people frightened. Moreover, they also noticed the Lanoop that the Liu family arranged to deal with Cheng Xianxin just now. 2 mid-stage God Realm, 2 early-stage God Realm, and a 5th level formation master. Such a terrifying formation can delay a little, even if it is used to deal with a late-stage God Realm strongman. But the Liu family used such a formation on the formation master in front of them. It is conceivable how difficult this person is. The Siamese God Realm expert who attacked Cheng Yuheng subconsciously wanted to avoid the sharp edge. However, Cheng Xianxin did not give the opponent a chance at all. Arsehole, where are you running? Whoosh. Cheng Xianxin's speed increased again, and he rushed to the God Realm expert in the blink of an eye. Generally speaking, in an encounter, the close combat power of the array master is not strong. However, Cheng Xianxin is not an ordinary array master. He is from the Cheng family in Shangjing. And the Cheng family is not only proficient in array, but also has other ways of cultivation. Just like Cheng Yuheng is a spiritual immortal master, and Cheng Xianxin is also a spiritual immortal master with good strength. However, compared with other people in the Cheng family, Cheng Xianxin is not very interested in the identity of a spiritual immortal master. On the contrary, Cheng Xianxin prefers physical cultivation. The feeling of hard collision makes him feel very exciting. So, the Siamese God Realm expert was in tragedy. He never thought that there would be an alien like Cheng Xianxin. You are a array master. It's okay to be a spiritual immortal master, but what the hell is your physical strength? Approaching. Cheng Xianxin attacked instantly. But, he raised his hand and cast an instantaneous formation. Immediately afterwards, a fierce punch came down. Cheng Xianxin's instantaneous formation was not very advanced. In fact, it was just a 1st or 2nd level illusion formation, and its purpose was only to delay the opponent. However, his punch hit hard. Bang. Although the Siamese God level strongman did not focus on the physical body, his physical body was also very powerful under the nourishment of the vital energy. However, Cheng Xianxin's punch directly broke through all his defenses and hit him directly on the nose. First update. Chapter 865. Cruel means. Bang. With a crisp sound, Cheng Xianxin's fist came into close contact with the face of the Siamese God Realm strongman. Crack. A bone fracture sounded. The face of the God Realm strongman was instantly covered with peach blossoms. A face was immediately torn apart. Blood flowed down like crazy. The Siamese God Realm strongman still wanted to resist. However, a mere early stage of the God Realm was not enough to face Cheng Xianxin. Cheng Xianxin easily suppressed him, and did not kill him, but punched him in the face. Bang. Bastard. How dare you bully my precious niece. Bang. Shameless thing, you are in the God Realm, and you still sneak attack a woman. Bang. I think you deserve a beating. Cheng Xianxin punched hard, cursing. It was also the bad luck of the Siamese God Realm strongman to meet such a reckless guy like Cheng Xianxin. Obviously, he could use mental power to kill the other party directly. But Cheng Xianxin didn't do that. Instead he wanted to fight himself. Punch after punch, the attack was sinister and cruel. It's fine to hit the face, but he had to pick some vulnerable parts to hit. Bang bang, a few punches down. The face of the God Realm strongman was bloody, his nose was broken, and there were only a few teeth left. Ah. 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 I will kill you. The God Realm strongman of Siam was almost crazy, and there was some madness in his eyes. Unfortunately, although he was in the God Realm, he was only in the early stage of the God Realm. How could he be the opponent of Cheng Xiansun, a ruthless man? An instant formation or a mental shock, coupled with a heavy punch. Such a combination is almost impossible for ordinary early God Realm. You are too much. I will kill you. The God Realm strongman of Siam was furious, and the killing intent in his heart condensed into substance, but it was useless. Looking at the helpless and furious look of the other party, Cheng Xiansun not only did not restrain himself, but became more excited than before, and fought more vigorously. Cheng Yuheng was originally bullied, and was scared to run around and scream. At this time, she had no opponent, and she was scared like a quail, squatting on the ground and hugging herself. Now Cheng Yuheng only has the mind of a child, and doesn't understand many things, but she also knows fear. Seeing the aggrieved Cheng Yuheng, Cheng Xiansun's hatred in his heart became even worse. Arsehole, hitting your face is light. Cheng Xiansun cursed, then suddenly raised his foot, and attacked the God Realm strongman in 3 directions. Although Cheng Xiansun is not a physical heavenly man, his physical strength is not much weaker than that of a martial arts heavenly man. With his physical strength, he attacked the fatal weakness of the male. In an instant, the God Realm strongman was completely miserable. Ah! A scream. The God Realm strongman hugged his crotch and bent over, and fell to the ground with a face full of pain. Pooh. Cheng Xiansun spat at him fiercely. He was about to kill this God Realm strongman directly. Suddenly, 2 strong winds hit him. Cheng Xiansun dodged quickly. Turning his head, he saw the 2 powerful gods who had stopped him at the beginning. They chased him. The 2 men were filled with murderous intent, and they were completely ready to kill. Yuzin Bei and Zhu Guodong didn't follow, but ULIU family members are so active. Get lost. Cheng Xiansun shouted. In an instant, the extremely cold glass cover in his hand shone with precious light, blocking the opponent's attack. Before, the extremely cold glass cover had a strong defense, and it could even resist Liu Yuanwu, who was in the middle stage of the martial arts heavenly realm. Not to mention the 2 people in the early stage of the God Realm. Bang, bang. The attacks of the 2 gods hit Cheng Xiansun's protective light shield directly. But, the light shield suddenly shrank back, and then bounced back fiercely. Boom. Boom. The 2 gods in the early stage were blown away. Squeak. Squeak. 2 deep marks were plowed on the ground. The 2 God Realm warriors flushed, their throats felt sweet, and they almost spit out blood. Looking at Cheng Xiansun again, he was still holding the extreme cold glaze cover, his face calm. The 2 finally understood why Yuzin Bei and Zhu Guodong could not take down this street scoundrel, even if they joined forces. This guy's too strong. The extreme cold glazed cover is a first-class treasure. The power of Feng Shui magic weapon in the hands of a master like Cheng Xiansun is too strong. Not to mention just 2 early God Realm warriors. Even if there are 2 more mid-God Realm warriors, they may not pose too much threat to Cheng Xiansun. However, if there are 2 mid-God Realm warriors, it will not be easy for Cheng Xiansun to break out of the siege. At this time, Barton, who was fighting with Su Chen, also noticed the situation here. Seeing the Siamese God Realm warrior with blood on his face, he was immediately furious. Save him. Kill that bastard. Barton immediately ordered other Siamese warriors to surround and kill him. In an instant, 2 more Siamese warriors came to kill. The 2 newcomers are also Muay Thai masters at the God Realm level. However, since Cheng Xiansun has already made a move, he will not let that bastard go. He once again activated the extremely cold glaze cover to resist the 2 men. Want to save people? Have you asked me? Cheng Xiansun sneered disdainfully. The next second, but Cheng Xiansun's mental power exploded. You know, Cheng Xiansun is also a spiritual immortal master. In terms of mental power, he may be inferior in quality, but he is still superior in quantity. But, in an instant, a mental power spike went straight to the God Realm early strongman who had just attacked Cheng Yuheng. The strong man was still struggling in pain. Caught off guard, He was directly pierced through the Niwen Palace and collapsed to the ground again. Cheng Xianxin seemed to be worried that the man was not dead. He snorted coldly and smashed the extremely cold glazed cover in his hand. Bang! The man's head suddenly became a big watermelon. The God Realm strongman who attacked Cheng Yuheng finally paid the price of his life. And the God Realm strongman of Siam wanted to stop him but failed. Damn it. The Siamese warriors were furious and their steps could not help but stop. Too brutal. Is this guy in front of them still a formation master? A formation master should be able to plan and strategize. How could he use such a cruel method? Without waiting for them to think, Cheng Xianxin attacked again. Spiritual spike. A terrifying mental force rushed straight to the God Realm strongman who was struggling to resist the recoil of the extremely cold glass cover. At this time, it was not easy for the two God Realm strongmen to resist the recoil of the extremely cold glass cover. Cheng Xianxin's sudden attack made it even worse for the two. In an instant, the two God Realm strongmen were instantly in a trance. One of them was especially taken care of, and his steps staggered. Die. Cheng Xianxin's eyes flashed with a fierce light, and he rushed forward. Second update. Chapter 866 Yuzin died in vain. The next moment. Buzz. Cheng Xianxin threw out two formations. Kill. With a roar, Cheng Xianxin took the initiative to kill the person who was more affected. The extremely cold glass cover, with a stream of terrifying light, rushed away. The extremely cold glass cover is a Feng Shui magic weapon, with strong protective ability, but also strong attack. It's just that Cheng Xianxin usually doesn't use it. Plop. The unlucky Siamese God Realm strongman didn't even have a chance to react, and fell to the ground again. Cheng Xianxin followed again, and directly swung the extremely cold glass cover, like a brick, and smashed it hard on the opponent's head. Bang! Another watermelon exploded. Another enemy, completely dead. Two God Realm strongmen were killed by Cheng Xianxin one after another. The Siamese strongmen hated it so much, but they didn't dare to act rashly. And the other strongmen also swallowed their saliva, not knowing how to react. The seventh master of the Cheng family is so terrifying. Cheng Xianxin has always been famous. However, what people talk about more is not his strength. It is Cheng Xianxin's unique personality and style. But now, everyone can't help but stare with wide eyes, full of shock. Many people seem to know Cheng Xianxin for the first time. Cheng Xianxin, whose reverse scale was touched, burst out with terrifying fighting power. The powerful men of Shangjing Liu family also looked solemn at this time. Liu Shaoan's mind was racing, thinking about how to deal with the next situation. Finally, Liu Shaoan gritted his teeth, and a terrifying murderous intent burst out of his eyes. Since he has already made a move, he will go all the way to the end. You also make a move. Liu Shaoan actually gave orders to use Bei and Zhuguodang. The two looked at each other and nodded. Before, they had already decided. Now, of course, they would not refuse. Since he has offended, he might as well kill him. What about the Feng Shui family, Cheng family? As long as the killing is thorough enough, and no evidence is left, no one can suspect them. With this in mind, Bei and Zhuguodang attacked together, with extremely ruthless moves. No longer concerned about the terrifying strength of the Cheng family in Shangjing. Looking for death. Seeing the choices of Bei and Zhuguodang, Cheng Xianxin was furious. For others, the status of the inspector of the tiger catching guard and the patrol inspector of the dragon slaying guard is already noble enough. But in Cheng Xianxin's view, whether it is an inspector or a patrol inspector, it is just a worker who works for others. But now, these two people want to kill him and Yuheng. When has the Cheng family in Shangjing been ignored like this? Fight. Cheng Xianxin shouted. As soon as the voice fell, the extremely cold glass cover in his hand, the pressure slide flowed wildly. This time, he was serious. Kill. Without waiting for Bei and Zhuguodang to get close, the mental power burst out and killed the last Siamese god realm. He must reduce the opponent's combat effectiveness in advance. This time, there were 3 Siamese god realm warriors who besieged Cheng Xianxin. He had killed 2 of them before. Although Siamese god realm warriors are strong, they are not good at mental power. It can be said that they were restrained by Cheng Xianxin. In an instant, they were caught off guard. A burst of mental power. The last God Realm warrior didn't even have a chance to react and was directly hit and frozen. And Cheng Xiansun hit him again fiercely. Puff. The 3 Siamese God Realm warriors all died in the hands of Cheng Xiansun. Whoosh. Whoosh. At this time, Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodong had come close. Facing Cheng Xiansun, who had just killed 3 God Realm warriors, a trace of fear appeared in their eyes. The Cheng family is not easy to mess with. The 7th master of the Cheng family is not weak, and his mental power is so powerful that it is so terrifying. But now, the two have no way out. Hellfire Realm. Tiger roaring in the mountains and forests. Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodong came up with a killing move. Come and die. Cheng Xiansun roared. Not only did he not dodge, but he took the initiative to rush towards the two. In his hand, the light of the extremely cold glass cover became more and more dazzling. In an instant, 5 azure blue dragons appeared again. However, unlike the previous bluffing, this time the 5 dragons seemed more vivid. Roar. The dragon roared, but with a fierce power. Facing such an attack, Yu Xinbei's face was solemn, and a trace of fear was in his heart. He had a premonition that his Hellfire Realm could not do anything with this magic weapon. Zhu Guodong also had an ugly face. His tiger fist intention could not touch the azure blue dragon at all. Zzzz. The dragon opened its mouth and spewed out azure blue light like a stream of water. Puff. The flames of Yu Xinbei's Hellfire Realm were extinguished on the spot. Yu Xinbei was stunned for a moment. At this moment, another terrifying mental spike attacked, which was Cheng Xiansun's mental power attack. Die. Cheng Xiansun was fierce. He didn't care so much. Even if the Dragon Slayer guards inspected, what could they do? Cheng Xiansun was not afraid at all. Yu Xinbei felt dizzy and his face changed. He forced himself to concentrate his mental strength and tried to break free. However, this moment of dizziness was enough for Cheng Xiansun. Die. Cheng Xiansun's voice fell. Then, a terrifying black light flew out from his hand and pierced Yu Xinbei. This was actually an iron nail that was 1 foot and 2 inches long. This iron nail looked very ordinary. It looked rusty and no one would care about it, even if it was thrown into the scrap heap. In fact, this iron nail was very extraordinary. It looked like an ordinary iron nail, but in fact, they were treasures collected by Cheng Xiansun. Descendants nails. They can also be called coffin nails. This inconspicuous 3-inch long nail, however, gathered the evil spirits of heaven and earth and could calm the souls of the dead, which was quite insidious. Cheng Xiansun didn't care about these things now. All these people in front of him deserved to die. Whoosh. Descendants nails. Very fast. Seeing the black light breaking through the air, Yu Xinbei was horrified. But at this moment, he had no chance to dodge. At this moment, Zhu Guodong punched him. He seemed to want to break the Descendant's nail and help Yu Xinbei out. However, the Descendant's nail has the effect of calming the soul. Zhu Guodong's fist was ineffective against it. The key blocking was also broken instantly. The 1 foot 2 inch long Descendant's nail broke through the layers of obstruction and directly inserted into the center of Yu Xinbei's eyebrows. Then, it pierced through the back of his head fiercely. Plop. Yu Xinbei fell down. The 3rd update is here. The update is over. Thank you all for your support. Good night. Chapter 867 Ice Age. Yu Xinbei. Die. A dignified dragon slaying guard inspector, a mid-stage god realm expert, died completely on this Kingsong mountain. For a moment, everyone was stunned. Cheng Xiansun was too cruel. Cheng Xiansun in anger was too terrifying. Seeing this scene, Zhu Guodong was scared to death. Even if he wanted to get close to the Liu family, his life was the most important. It's your turn. Cheng Xiansun looked at Zhu Guodong and whispered. There was no fierceness in his eyes, but he looked very calm, as if he was chatting with an old friend. However, the extremely cold glass cover held in Cheng Xiansun's hand and the Descendant's nail floating in front of him proved that he was not so kind. Zhu Guodong suddenly felt cold all over. He stepped back quickly and begged for mercy. No. 7th Master. 7th Master Cheng, I was wrong. Yu Xinbei was also in the mid-stage god realm, and he died directly. He was also in the mid-stage god realm and had no confidence to resist this attack. Facing Zhu Guodong's plea for mercy, Cheng Xiansun ignored him at all. Spiritual spikes. Cheng Xianzhen's mental power burst out. A terrifying mental spike pierced directly into Zhu Guodang's sea of consciousness. Zhu Guodang only felt a pain in his head, and then his eyes flickered. At this moment, Cheng Xianzhen's figure moved. Whoosh! He was as fast as a cheetah, and rushed to Zhu Guodang's side in the blink of an eye. Before Zhu Guodang could recover, Cheng Xianzhen raised the extremely cold-colored glass cover. Bang! Cheng Xianzhen used the extremely cold-colored glass cover as a hammer, and then smashed it hard on Zhu Guodang's forehead. In an instant, Zhu Guodang was smashed and bleeding. Zhu Guodang was already in a trance, and he didn't expect Cheng Xianzhen to play by the rules and actually use a magic weapon to smash people. After the smash, Zhu Guodang was completely stunned. However, this was just Zhu Guodang's misunderstanding of Cheng Xianzhen. In fact, Cheng Xianzhen was originally a street urchin with abnormal thinking. Cheng Xianzhen waved the descendant's mail again, and stabbed it towards Zhu Guodang. Whoosh! Just when Zhu Guodang was in life and death crisis, an angry roar came from far away. Cheng Laoqi, you are looking for death. The person who came was Liu Yuanwu, a middle-stage physical heavenly realm expert of the Liu family. Bang! Liu Yuanwu was extremely fast. He went all out and punched hard. Boom. This time, Cheng Xianzhen's extremely cold glass cover was directly shaken away. It was not that Liu Yuanwu was stronger than Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodang, but Cheng Xianzhen was eager to kill Zhu Guodang, so he was caught off guard by Liu Yuanwu. Facing Liu Yuanwu's intervention, Cheng Xianzhen's expression did not change. He pinched his fingers and set up a 4th level defense formation to stop Liu Yuanwu. At the same time, the descendant's nail was once again mailed to Zhu Guodang's forehead. Stop! Liu Shaoan was also angry. Yu Xinbei and Zhu Guodang were the Liu family listings in the tiger catching guard and the inspectorate guard. The loss of Yu Xinbei was already heartbreaking for Liu Shaoan. Now, Cheng Xianzhen was going to kill Zhu Guodang. If he couldn't protect him, those who wanted to join the Liu family would definitely hesitate. Cheng Laoqi, don't seek death. Liu Shaoan shouted, if you dare to touch Zhu Guodang, I'll never let you go. Haha. Cheng Xianzhen sneered, see if I dare. As soon as the words fell, Cheng Xianzhen waved his hand suddenly. Suddenly, the more than 1 foot long descendant's nail pierced Zhu Guodang's head. Ah! Zhu Guodang screamed, and died on the spot. Cheng Xianzhen. Liu Shaoan spoke word by word. His teeth were chattering. As the think tank of the Liu family, he had always been in control of the situation, and won the battle thousands of miles away. But today, he was defeated again and again. Come on, kill him. Liu Shaoan, the think tank of the Liu family, was about to burst out with anger. The masters of the Liu family looked at each other, all confused. Just now, 5 powerful gods were killed by Cheng Xianzhen. Moreover, Zhu Guodang and Yu Xinbei were still in the middle stage of the god realm. The fighting power that Cheng Xianzhen burst out was really scary. Therefore, even though Cheng Xianzhen did not look very good now, they did not dare to move forward easily. At this moment, a sword light chills the 19 continents. A light chant sounded, but it came from the swordsman Ciu. In an instant, a sword light, like a fairy from the sky, pierced Cheng Xianzhen. Before it reached him, Cheng Xianzhen felt a stinging pain on his skin. Liu Yuanwu also hurriedly followed. With these 2 people leading the way, the Liu family masters finally had more confidence. 3 Liu family gods followed and besieged them. Cheng Xianzhen once again spit blood from the tip of his tongue onto the extremely cold glass cover. Extremely cold glass cover, Ice Age. Cheng Xianzhen roared. The next moment, on the light curtain, the 5 little dragons that had disappeared reappeared. Moreover, there were 4 more. If you look closely, the other 4 little dragons were not azure blue. Instead, they looked delicate and translucent. A sneer of contempt flashed across the faces of Liu Yuanwu and others. Just now, Cheng Xianzhen used this trick to scare Yu Xinbei and others, and they saw it clearly. However, not far away, Yan Maohua shouted loudly, get out of the way. Yang Maohua's eyes widened, and he looked at the 9 little dragons in horror. There was a strong fear in his eyes. Liu Yuanwu and others were stunned, not knowing why Yan Maohua reminded them like this. The next second, Cheng Xianzhen waved his hand to urge. Roar. 9 little dragons rushed up. Cuiu sword light was instantly dispersed. Liu Yuanwu's punch was also directly repelled. Shock appeared on the faces of the two men. This time, Cheng Xianzhen was not bluffing. The other 3 God Realm warriors who followed him also attacked, but were also crushed by the terrifying power of the 9 little dragons. Boom. The 9 dragons came directly with irresistible power. Finally, they condensed into a formation, directly surrounding the 5 Liu family God Realm warriors, including Liu Yuanwu and Cuiu. This Master Cheng he is so lucky. Zhang Tian, who was fighting, looked over here, with a flash of envy in his eyes. As a formation master, who doesn't want to own a good Feng Shui magic weapon, especially a Feng Shui magic weapon with special effects? However, most formation masters don't have this kind of luck, let alone a magic weapon like Cheng Xianzhen, that has special effects. First update. Chapter 868, Dilemma on both sides. On the side, Su Chen, who was fighting with Patton, also looked back subconsciously. His pupils couldn't help but shrink slightly. Su Chen had long known that Cheng Xianzhen's extremely cold glass cover was extremely magical, but he still didn't expect that there would be such a change when he used it with all his strength. Su Chen didn't have many opportunities to use magic weapons along the way. Moreover, he never had a suitable Feng Shui magic weapon on him. But it didn't mean that he didn't know anything about Feng Shui magic weapons. At least he knew that Feng Shui magic weapons were extremely rare, and Feng Shui magic weapons that could change the terrain of mountains and rivers were even rarer. Moreover, they were more valuable than ordinary magic weapons. Not to mention Feng Shui magic weapons, even the medical saint Golden Needle was given to Su Chen by the Cheng family after he helped Cheng Yuheng with his treatment. In a flash, the battlefield of Cheng Xianzhen had changed. 5 blue dragons spewed out terrifying water from their mouths. But this was not the most fatal. Water can overcome fire, and it has a miraculous effect on Yuzin Bei's fire attribute vitality. But it has no targeted effect on ordinary warriors. What really worked was the 4 transparent glazed dragons. There were bursts of icy coldness coming from their bodies and breaths. This kind of coldness seemed to come from the ancient ice age. Even the water sprayed by the azure dragon was frozen into ice in an instant. Snap, snap. The 5 people shrouded in the cold air wanted to dodge. However, the ice flowers on their bodies made them feel more and more sluggish, like puppets. Run. Can you run? Cheng Xianzhen's eyes were full of coldness. The cold murderous intent turned him into a demon from hell. No one had ever thought that this usually laughing Master Cheng Qi would be so terrifying when he really burst into murderous intent. However, although Cheng Xianzhen was powerful, the Liu family's formation master was not a vegetarian either. How could he watch Cheng Xianzhen kill people? Moreover, the 5 masters of the divine realm were surrounded by Cheng Xianzhen. If all 5 of them died, it would undoubtedly be a double blow to the already injured Liu family. In the previous battle, Su Chen's thunder tribulation during the unity of heaven and man killed a spiritual immortal master Wen Liang and a physical master Zhao Desu in the heavenly realm. After that, Cheng Xianzhen used the descendant's nail to kill Yuzin Bei and Zhu Guodong. In this Liu family operation, more than half of the mid-stage divine realm masters died. If Liu Yuanwu and Cuiu, 2 mid-stage divine realm masters, died again, the Liu family would really fall into a big trap. Moreover, there are 3 other early divine realm masters trapped now, which is also a powerful force for the Liu family. 10 suns in the sky. Yang Maohua shouted. He quickly arranged a formation, and 10 fireballs appeared on the 9 little dragons. Water can overcome fire, and fire can naturally overcome water. 10 suns in the sky. Suddenly, there was an endless heat wave. All things come to life. At the same time, Master Yu also arranged a formation. However, his formation seemed a little weird. The land scorched by the scorching sun was about to turn into sand, but now it was brought to life by this magical formation. It sounds complicated, but in fact, Master Yu used the mutual generation and mutual restraint of the 5 element to absorb the power of the blue dragon. It's not that easy. Cheng Xianzhen's eyes were filled with a hint of sarcasm. He took out a pill from his body and stuffed it into his mouth. But Cheng Xianzhen's mental power burst out again. The 9 dragons were instantly more powerful. However, Master Yu and Old Yan were also masters of formation. Their mental power was naturally not weak, so they naturally had to stop it. Don't even think about it. In an instant, 2 equally powerful mental powers burst out, and they temporarily suppressed Cheng Xianzhen's 9 dragons. Cheng Xianzhen's anger rose in his heart, but he didn't say much, because there were other changes on the battlefield at this time. With the departure of Master Yu and Old Yan, Zhang Tian's pressure was greatly reduced. He immediately took the opportunity to attack other gods in Siam. Although Zhang Tian, as the contemporary Xianqi of Xianqi Mountain in Languo, would not take the initiative to attack the Siamese strongman due to his status. But since the Siamese have already taken action, Zhang Tian can naturally fight back. For a time, the Siamese strongman was in a panic. At the same time, Su Chen, who was fighting with Patton, has gradually fallen into a disadvantage. After all, his condition has not recovered. If it were not for the 7-injury fist to forcibly stimulate his own potential, Su Chen might have fallen on the battlefield long ago. It is already very difficult to hold on until now. Su Chen, you rest first, I'm here. Li Changfeng came and instantly burst out with powerful combat power to stop Patton's attack. Su Chen did not show off. Li Weichang, be careful, this person is proficient in Buddhism and has good combat power. He stepped back slightly and reminded. Don't worry. Li Changfeng smiled slightly. Even if the other party is a national teacher of a country, it is not difficult to deal with it with his strength. As expected. Although Barton is a master of Buddhism, he seems to have no advantage in front of Li Changfeng's powerful move. For a while, the battlefield fell into a strange balance again. Many Liu family and Siamese warriors died, and Su Chen's fighting power also decreased sharply. Zhang Lanhu has been unable to fight, and it is difficult for Su Chen to make a move now. Although Cheng Xianzhen has repeatedly erupted, it is difficult to achieve results under the full attack of the Liu family. If we only talk about the number of warriors, the Liu family and Siamese warriors naturally have the upper hand. However, it is difficult to achieve greater results. After all, Su Chen has retreated to recover, and I don't know if he can fight again. Liu Shaowan's face was uncertain. He thought that this action was bound to win. As a result, now it can be said that he has lost both the wife and the army. Young Master Liu, what should we do? The Liu family warriors looked at Liu Shaowan. They also hoped that Liu Shaowan could come up with a solution. Liu Shaowan's face was ugly, and his mind was turning rapidly. On the side, Su Chen was also thinking about countermeasures in his heart. No other. Because he knew that Cheng Xianzhen's state could only be maintained for a while. With the ability of Yan Maohe and Master Yu, it was only a matter of time before they suppressed him. Yang Maohe had defeated the previous generation of Heavenly Master and won the title of the number 1 in the art of formation. Even though Yan Maohe won in an ignominious way, his attainments in the art of formation could be seen. And Master Yu, although not so famous, but since he was invited by the Liu family, he must be strong. With the combination of the two masters of the art of formation, I'm afraid Cheng Xianzhen won't be able to hold on for too long. It can even be said that, if Cheng Xianzhen hadn't had the magical extremely cold glazed cover in his hand, he would have been defeated by the two of them long ago. The second update will be released in about 15 minutes. Chapter 869 9 Dragon Spit Pearls. The extreme cold glazed cover is a very powerful Feng Shui magic weapon. Su Chen saw this when they first met. However, he still underestimated Cheng Xianzhen. Cheng Xianzhen, who was desperate, showed the more magical side of the extreme cold glazed cover. Although, the 9 little dragons were not vivid. But this also shows the extraordinary nature of this magic weapon. Su Chen even had a vague guess. If this treasure is nurtured for a while, it might be able to surpass the magic weapon. Unfortunately, at least for now, Cheng Xianzhen no longer has such an opportunity. Feng Shui magic weapons are like this. If used normally, there will naturally be no damage to the Feng Shui magic weapon. But if Cheng Xianzhen uses it like this, which is almost self-explosive, it will greatly damage the spirituality of the magic weapon. Simply put, After using the 9 little dragons this time, the power of the extreme cold glazed cover will be reduced for a long time in the future. Unless a Feng Shui treasure land is found to nurture for decades, perhaps the 9 little dragons can be made alive again. However, it is hard to say whether a Feng Shui treasure land can still produce the original effect after being nurtured for so many years. Now, the 9 little dragons have been completely activated. If Cheng Xianxin does not take advantage of the opportunity to create large-scale casualties, it will only be a waste. Unfortunately, Yan Maohe and Master Yu reacted quickly. They stopped Cheng Xianxin at the first time. This is also because Cheng Xianxin is too greedy, thinking of seriously injuring Siyu, Liu Yuanwu and other 5 gods. Otherwise, if it is only aimed at 1 or 2 people, maybe it will make the Liu family feel distressed now. The facts are indeed as Su Chen guessed. The 2 sides fought for less than a few minutes, and Cheng Xianxin already seemed to be struggling. Under the suppression of Yan Maohe and Master Yu's formation, the power of the extremely cold glass cover slowly weakened. Kill it. Cheng Xianxin gritted his teeth and urged it. The extremely cold glass cover made a crunching sound, as if it could explode at any time. Yang Maohe showed a smug look on his face. Try harder. His Feng Shui magic weapon can't hold on any longer. At this time, a voice came. Zhou Wanqiu, listen to my instructions. It was Su Chen. He couldn't just watch Cheng Xianxin's magic weapon being destroyed. What's more, the 2 sides were in a stalemate. If Cheng Xianxin couldn't hold on, there would be a chain of defeats. Hearing Su Chen's voice, Cheng Xianxin's face lit up. He breathed a sigh of relief, and his ears almost stood up. Cheng Xianxin knew his attainments in the art of formation. Those 5 masters of the god realm were not so easy to suppress at all. Moreover, there were Yan Maohe and Master Yu to help break the formation. In some cases, the formation master was really strong. If an 8 or 9 level formation was prepared in advance, even the late god realm would be helpless. But if it was just a formation of the same level that could suppress it for a few minutes, it would mean that the formation master was strong enough. And Cheng Xianxin's 9 little dragons were actually a kind of formation. It's just that this formation was not performed by him personally. Just now, he could only wait for the power of the 9 dragons to run out. Fortunately, Su Chen spoke. On the other side, Yan Maohe and Master Yu also had a slightly more solemn look on their faces. Yang Maohe had the most say in Su Chen's attainments in the art of formation. In the previous confrontation, he suffered a loss at the hands of Su Chen. Zhou Wanqiu, 4 ice dragons rise into the air, and let the 10 suns in the sky be broken. Su Chen's words shocked the 3 people, especially Yan Maohe. If he didn't know that Su Chen was the backbone of the group, he would even suspect that this guy was a traitor arranged by the Liu family. After hearing Su Chen's words, Cheng Xianxin was briefly shocked, but he didn't hesitate, and actually chose to let the 4 little dragons rise into the sky, looking for death. Seeing Cheng Xianxin do this, Yan Maohe's eyes showed a hint of coldness. The temperature of the 10 suns in the sky rose again. Since Cheng Xianxin had already delivered the key to breaking the formation to his lips, he naturally couldn't miss it. In the confrontation of the art of formation, a change in an instant would cause a huge chain reaction. And this time, it was the same. As the 4 little dragons took off, the remaining 5 water dragons could no longer suppress the 5 people. The ice on the 5 people began to melt slowly. Not good. Cheng Xianxin was shocked. He subconsciously looked at Su Chen. Seeing that Su Chen did not speak, Cheng Xianxin's mind was temporarily calmed down. However, Cheng Xianxin was still a little anxious. If all the ice cubes melted, the 5 masters of the god realm would be completely out of trouble. By then, let alone Cheng Xianxin, even if 2 or 3 were tied together, they would probably not be able to suppress the 5 god realms again. Continue. Su Chen's voice was very steady. The formation skills taught by his grandfather made Su Chen far superior to ordinary people in the formation. That's right. 10 suns in the sky will certainly melt the little dragon, but this is also Su Chen's strategy. The damage to the extremely cold glass cover is unavoidable. Instead of suppressing it temporarily, it is better to give the Liu family masters a ruthless wave. Seeing that the little dragon melted faster and faster, Cheng Xianxin began to panic. There was even a cold sweat on his forehead. Even with his reckless personality, he still acted like this. It is conceivable how important this extremely cold glass cover is to him. Zhou Wanqiu, the other 5 dragons will take off at the same time. Su Chen gave the order again. He is in a very bad condition now, and can only command remotely. Okay. Cheng Xianxin gritted his teeth, and chose to believe Su Chen. As the 5 little dragons took off, the ice melted faster. It seemed that the 5 masters of the god realm were about to break through the suppression of the 9 little dragons. Now, the 9 dragons spit out the pearls. Su Chen shouted. The 3rd update is here. The update is over. Good night everyone. Thank you for your support. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 870, pointing to a breakthrough. Su Chen shouted. Cheng Xianxin did it immediately. Su Chen's eyes were fixed on the 9 little dragons. Although he was very weak now, his eyes were unusually bright and looked very energetic. 9 dragons spewing pearls. This was not a profound formation. However, at this critical moment, it could work wonders. Before, the 4 little dragons on Cheng Xianxin's extremely cold glass cover were ice dragons. But now, they were half ice and half water. In this way, the bone-chilling breath spewed out from the mouths of the 4 ice dragons also turned into flowing water. It looked no different from the other 5 little dragons. The moment Su Chen's voice fell, Cheng Xianxin pinched the magic formula and used the 9 dragons spewing pearls. In an instant, the 9 little dragons actually spit out streams of water. Among these 9 streams of water, 5 of them were quite normal. The other 4 streams of water still exuded an icy aura. Put out the fire. Su Chen spoke again. 9 little dragons turned at the same time and spewed at the 10 fireballs in the sky. In an instant, 9 streams of water condensed and gathered around the 10 fireballs. Hiss. A hissing sound was heard. The next second, a huge white mist filled the 10 fireballs. The huge white steam directly surrounded the 10 suns in the sky. In the blink of an eye, the heat of the 10 fireballs dropped dramatically. The white mist was very thick. The scorching sun hanging high in the sky suddenly cooled down by half. Yang Maohua's 10 suns in the sky was not powerful enough. It was the effect of water vapor that was more suitable for firefighting than water. In daily life, hot water is more suitable for firefighting than cold water. Because the heat absorbed by hot water, when it turns into water vapor, is much faster than that of cold water turning into hot water, which can quickly cool down. Moreover, the quickly formed water vapor can also wrap the flame, blocking its contact with oxygen and weakening the combustion. Although the flame formed by the formation is not exactly the same as this, it has the same effect. The power of 10 suns in the sky was greatly reduced in an instant. How is this possible? Yang Maohua was completely stunned, his eyes full of horror. Cheng Xianxin couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. In this way, his pressure was much less. Before, under the targeting of Yan Maohua and Master Yu, although he could hold on, he certainly couldn't hold on for too long. But now, it's different. Under Su Chen's guidance, Yan Maohua fell into a disadvantage. In this way, Cheng Xianxin even has a great chance to truly fight 1 against 7. These are 7 masters of the god realm. If he tells others about it in the future, it will be enough for him to brag about it for the rest of his life. Crack, crack. A burst of shattering sounds came. Cheng Xianxin's face changed slightly. He turned his head and looked. He saw that Ciu, Liu, Yuanwu and other 5 god realms were about to break out of the ice formation. Just now, Cheng Xianxin turned around to deal with Yan Maohua's 10 suns in the sky, giving them a chance to break the formation. Move the clouds and rain. At this time, Su Chen gave Cheng Xianxin another order. Cheng Xianxin was slightly stunned and then reacted. He pinched his fingers and chanted the spell again, urging the extremely cold glass cover. Suddenly, the 9 little dragons turned their heads suddenly. Wow. The little dragons spit out water again. In a flash, the 5 masters of the god realm who were about to escape were trapped in the water again. This time, the water flow of the extremely cold glass cover could no longer freeze these people like before. But water and fire are merciless. 9 streams of water instantly submerged the 5 god realm masters in the 9 dragon formation. The heavy rain was like a golden mountain filled with water. For a time, the 5 people were like a lone boat in the sea. Even if they tried their best, they could not escape the control of the 9 dragon formation. This is not ordinary rain, but the effect of the formation, which naturally has a kind of restraint on ordinary warriors. At this time, "Suck it up, Master," you shouted. Several formation flags flew out again and stuck into the ground. He made seals with both hands and activated the formation. Suddenly, a strange energy flowed on the ground. Then, a strong suction force broke out. Cheng Xiansun's face changed. He felt that the power of the 9 dragons formation was rapidly fading away. It was like a water plug was pulled out under a pool. The 5 people trapped in the 9 dragons formation also saw hope. Cheng Xiansun panicked and looked at Su Chen. Su Chen's mind turned. Suddenly, he had a way to deal with it. "Zhou Wanqiu, freeze the ground." Cheng Xiansun's face lit up, and he did it immediately. Although Master Yu's attainments in formations were not as good as Yan Maohua's, he was also a master of formations. His methods were not weak. If it was a one-on-one duel of formations, he would definitely not be able to stop Cheng Xiansun holding the extremely cold glass cover. However, this was not a one-on-one duel. Cheng Xiansun was already involved by the 5 masters of the god realm, and there was also a formation master like Yan Maohua suppressing him. At this critical moment, Master Yu became the last straw that broke the camel's back. What's more, he is not a straw. Without Su Chen's guidance, Cheng Xiansun might have to desperately hold on and maintain the current situation for a short time. However, this time will not last long. Moreover, as time goes by, he will even be dragged to exhaustion by these strong men. Cheng Xiansun's mental power is not endless. However, Su Chen's guidance has found another way to prevent Cheng Xiansun from being quickly exhausted. As the ground was frozen, Master Yu's All Things Born formation could no longer absorb the power of the 9 dragons formation. Damn it. Master Yu's face suddenly became ugly. His All Things Born formation is a wood attributed formation. Water gives birth to wood. Therefore, the All Things Born formation can restrain Cheng Xiansun by absorbing the power of the 9 dragons formation. However, now, as the ground was frozen, Master Yu felt that the operation of his wood-based formation was sluggish, not to mention absorbing energy. "Zhou Wanqiu, continue to extinguish those 10 fireballs." Su Chen spoke again. This time, the target is still Yan Maohua's 10 suns in the sky. After all, the biggest threat to Cheng Xiansun was Yan Maohua, the master of formations. This time, Cheng Xiansun did not hesitate at all. Every time Su Chen gave him advice, he felt that he was getting twice the result with half the effort. Damn it. Seeing Cheng Xiansun showing his might under Su Chen's guidance, Liu Shaoan's face was extremely ugly. Chapter 871, Spiritual Secret Technique. Liu Shaoan looked at Su Chen. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Even a man as scheming as him could not hide his irritation at this moment. Su Chen was too difficult to deal with. He thought that the Liu family would soon gain the upper hand in this situation. But in the end, Su Chen, who was already exhausted, exerted a terrifying fighting power with just his mouth. Under Su Chen's guidance, Cheng Xiansun, who was about to collapse, actually soared in fighting power, and his strength was directly improved by several levels. One person, relying on an excellent Feng Shui magic weapon, forcibly held back the 7 great gods. Liu Shaoan was in a dilemma. At this moment, "Young Master Liu, why don't you let me take action?" A rather old voice sounded in Liu Shaoan's mind. "Old Master Long, do you have a way to kill that kid?" Liu Shaoan whispered in his heart. A solemn look appeared on his face. "Young Master Liu, if it was anyone else, I would have won. But, that kid, it's hard to say." There was some hesitation in Elder Long's words. He watched Su Chen's fight throughout, and was very afraid of this young man with various means. Liu Shaoan calculated the pros and cons in his heart. Finally, he gritted his teeth, and made a decision. "Please Elder Long, capture and kill this kid." Although Liu Shaoyan was talking to himself in his mind, his tone was still a bit respectful. Okay. Elder Long agreed. At this time, Su Chen had just commanded Cheng Xianxin to suppress the 5 god realms again, and a voice suddenly sounded in his sea of consciousness. Boy, you are in trouble. The voice was old. However, Su Chen was very familiar with it. It was the voice of the old man of Yangshan in his sea of consciousness. Su Chen raised his eyebrows. Old man, what did you find? Su Chen's eyes were a little more solemn. Although the old man of Yangshan had his Yangshan power absorbed by himself. But as a master of Liuli realm, his knowledge and ability must be extraordinary. Moreover, Su Chen himself did not find anything wrong, which made him more alert. Boy, if you are so rude again, I will not help you. At worst, I will find someone else to possess. The old man Yangshan was very dissatisfied. Old man Qu, then you should find another person to possess your body. See if you can get out of my sea of consciousness. Su Chen said lightly. Okay. I'm on your pirate ship. The old man Yangshan's voice was a bit helpless and seemed a little aggrieved. Tell me, what's the situation? Su Chen was not polite. If someone really attacked him, then the other party would not be polite. There is an old guy who is about to reach the late stage of the god realm and wants to attack you. I will teach you 2 moves, one for attack and one for defense, and you should understand them well. What? Su Chen was stunned. A master who is about to reach the late stage of the god realm. He quickly turned his head and looked around, but he didn't see such a master at all. Su Chen was about to ask again. Suddenly, 2 profound formulas appeared in his sea of consciousness. It was as if Su Chen had already learned it. It was so mysterious. Su Chen was shocked. This old guy, it was indeed from the Liuli realm. His methods were magical. Then, Su Chen quickly focused on 2 mysterious formulas. The seal of the Aquila. Su Chen was slightly distracted when he saw the first formula. He didn't expect that the first one given to him by the Yangshan old man was actually the spiritual secret technique for the spirit god. Although Su Chen had not learned the spiritual secret technique for the spirit god, he had heard Cheng Xianxin brag about it. The Cheng family was a family of Feng Shui formations, and most of them practiced spiritual power, so they naturally had spiritual secret techniques passed down from their families, and they were quite powerful. However, even with Cheng Xianxin's status as a direct descendant, he did not dare to pass on the Cheng family secret techniques. Unless Su Chen became a Cheng family general like Cheng San, he would have the opportunity to practice the Cheng family's spiritual secret techniques. Moreover, even so, he could only learn general spiritual secret techniques, not the Cheng family's fundamental secret techniques. After all, the reason why the Cheng family was so powerful was not just because of the Feng Shui formations. This spiritual secret technique is also a trump card of the Cheng family. Except for the direct descendants of the Cheng family, most of the servants and generals who joined the Cheng family can only practice some ordinary secret techniques that are harmless to the Cheng family. As for the real top-level spiritual secret techniques, let alone ordinary servants, even direct descendants like Cheng Xianxin cannot practice them easily now. And now, the old man Yangshan who has been borrowing in Su Chen's sea of consciousness has easily given him 2 spiritual secret techniques. Moreover, it is extremely profound at a glance, not an ordinary technique. How can Su Chen not be shocked? You know, this is a spiritual secret technique. Getting such a secret technique is even more difficult than getting a powerful boxing manual for the Yuan-Ki martial god. Mahajura is the master of the 3000 worlds. He is arrogant and refuses to obey the call. He thinks, I'm the master of the 3 realms, who else can? The mysterious formula seems to have been engraved in the depths of the soul memory. Even if he has never practiced it, Su Chen can recite it easily. And as Su Chen's spiritual god recited, his spiritual god mental power began to move in a specific trajectory. Su Chen's spirit began to change. Slowly, Su Chen himself felt a little strange. But, in the end, Su Chen's spirit turned into a boy. There were 7 knots on his head, and his braided hair hung on his left shoulder. His left eye was closed, and his lower teeth bit his upper lip, showing a furious look. He carried a fierce fire on his back, held a sharp sword in his right hand, and a noose in his left hand, as if to cut off his troubles. If someone could see the appearance of Su Chen's spirit boy, they would be shocked to find that this was the legendary Dharma image of Akala Bodhisattva. A powerful force spread from Su Chen's spirit. Su Chen was shocked. Is this a powerful spiritual secret skill? He was about to ask. Suddenly, at this moment, a terrifying mental force suddenly attacked. Its target was Su Chen's sea of consciousness. Boy, die. This mental force was accompanied by a roar. However, when this powerful mental force approached, he was stunned for a moment. You are. Because that powerful mental force had already discovered Su Chen's Akala Bodhisattva spiritual secret technique. Elder Long's mental fluctuations were full of confusion and disbelief. The second update is here. Chapter 872. Feeling retired. As Liu Shaowan's secret guard, Long Lao's strength is naturally very strong. However, with his strength approaching the late stage of the God realm, he is actually a little confused and cautious at this time. Unlike the masters on the surface, Long Lao is a spiritual master. Moreover, he also possesses powerful spiritual secret skills. Because of this, Long Lao can become Liu Shaowan's guardian with the strength of the middle stage of the God realm. But now, even Long Lao has become a little cautious. The blessing of spiritual secret skills to spiritual masters is extremely important. This is like the difference between an ordinary person holding a wooden stick and holding a sharp blade. The huge gap is simply impossible to calculate. Heavenly demon dance. Long Lao shouted in his heart. The spiritual power that broke into Su Chen's sea of consciousness began to change slowly. The heavenly demon dance is Long Lao's spiritual secret skill. In terms of attack power, it may not be as good as ordinary spiritual attacks, but it has its unique feature, which is to make the opponent's spirit lost in the decadent music. Once, Long Lao used this trick to bewitch several powerful spiritual masters. Even the spiritual masters in the middle stage of the divine realm had been slaughtered by it at will. Even Su Chen, before receiving the two secret techniques from Master Kwa, was probably helpless. This is a battle between the spirit and the soul. This kind of battle is simply not something that the willpower of ordinary spiritual masters can resist. Warriors and spiritual masters alike have 7 emotions and 6 desires. The heavenly demon dance takes advantage of this weakness. This time is no exception. Master Long thought that he could rely on the heavenly demon dance to disturb Su Chen's mind and make him give up resistance completely. However, Su Chen's spirit, which had already transformed into the Dharma image of Akala, did not waver at all. In fact, it looked extremely solemn and dignified. Those who see my body will develop body-mind. Those who hear my name will stop doing evil and cultivate good. Those who hear my Dharma will gain great wisdom, and those who know my heart will become Buddhas in this body. The majestic Dharma image of Akala actually emitted a voice of great aspirations, which kept echoing in Su Chen's entire sea of consciousness. Not good. This child cannot be shaken. Master Long's face changed drastically. He had never thought that Su Chen had such a magical spiritual secret technique. Not only was he not bewitched by him, but he even felt submissive, and his spirit also showed signs of defeat. The next moment, the powerful spirit of Elder Long was about to withdraw from Su Chen's sea of consciousness. This power consumed a lot of him. At this time, Su Chen, who was not very proficient in the Akalanatha seal, could no longer maintain this state of bodhisattva. He saw that Elder Long's spiritual power wanted to retreat, and his anger rose in his heart. Do you think I'm a hotel? Come and go as you please? Su Chen snorted coldly. How could he let this old guy retreat easily? Su Chen did not hesitate, and his spirit subconsciously activated another spiritual secret technique of Elder Kwa. The evil spirit is coming. Compared with the Akalanatha seal, this evil spirit coming is more bizarre. Evil spirits are not rare. For a Taoist descendant like Su Chen, evil spirits are even more familiar. Even the little ghost raised by nature in Siam can be considered an evil spirit. But this does not mean that all evil spirits are of the same level. Just like martial arts masters, evil spirits are also divided into different levels. Obviously, evil spirits descend is a top-level evil spirit born with endless resentment and endless hatred. At the moment, when Su Chen activated evil spirit's descend, his spirit changed again and turned into a green-faced and fanged evil spirit. At this moment, Su Chen even lost control of his spirit. Hehe. The evil spirit transformed by the spirit screamed. Whoosh. Then, it pounced like lightning. In an instant, it approached the spirit of Elder Long. Before Elder Long could respond, the evil spirit was like an evil ghost, biting at the spiritual power of Elder Long's spirit fiercely. It looked like a starving ghost facing endless food. It bit madly, and its scalded eyes were full of monstrous hatred. Ah! Elder Long's spirit screamed. He desperately mobilized his mental power and attacked Su Chen's evil spirit god frantically. As a result, the spirit god ignored it and bit it frantically. In the blink of an eye, the powerful spirit god of Elder Long screamed and was covered with wounds. He attacked frantically and desperately. Su Chen's evil spirit god was beaten with cracks. As a result, the next second, it was pieced together again, recondensed into an evil ghost, and bit Elder Long's spirit god again fiercely. During this biting process, Su Chen's mental power was slowly recovering. TSK. This kid is really cruel. The pain of the spirit god being injured is not something that ordinary people can bear. If there is a chance to go to the glass realm, I'm afraid it will be another disaster. Elder Kwa was amazed. Su Chen didn't think too much. He consumed too much vitality and physical strength, and even his mental power was exhausted. If he was not in his sea of consciousness and had the spiritual secrets taught by Elder Kwa in a critical moment, he might have really been fooled by Elder Long. In the end, Elder Long was finally scared. He tore off a large piece of his spirit, attracting the attention of Su Chen's evil spirit, and then escaped like a gecko. Su Chen's evil spirit, as if seeing a delicious food, pounced on it and feasted on it. The entire sea of consciousness was filled with spirit fragments and scattered spiritual power. There were Su Chen's and Long Lao's. The time was very short, or perhaps it was very long. In the sea of consciousness, there seemed to be no complete concept of time. Unconsciously, Su Chen's evil spirit had restored his original appearance again. The pupils of Su Chen's spirit shrank slightly. He was a little confused and looked at the messy sea of consciousness in disbelief. When he just turned into an evil spirit, he had already lost his mind and was a little dazed. Boy, you are lucky. That guy is only in the middle stage of the god realm. If he was in the late stage of the god realm, you would be in trouble. The voice of Old Kwa came. Old Kwa, did I do this? Su Chen still couldn't accept the scene in front of him. Who else? The old man Yangshan curled his lips. Su Chen said nothing more and looked up at Liu Shaoan. On the other side, puff. The old man Long, who was standing behind Liu Shaoan, suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood. His face turned pale instantly. The whole person's breath was weak. Old Long, how are you? Liu Shaoan's face changed. He never thought that the old man Long, who was like a magic needle that stabilizes the sea, would suffer a big loss. Young Master Liu, I'm fine. Old Long shook his head. He said with a serious face, but that kid is not easy to deal with. I'm afraid our trip will fail. Damn it. Liu Shaoan's face was gloomy. It seems that this time I can only let this bastard live a few more days. At this moment, Liu Shaoan finally gave up. The third update is here. The update is over. Good night everyone. Thank you for your support. Chapter 873 Cold-Blooded. Seeing that Liu Shaoan was about to retreat, Elder Long frowned. Young Master Liu Shaoan's face was gloomy. This time, we underestimated this bastard, and we were still not well prepared. Elder Long sighed secretly in his heart. This time, he also had a new understanding of Su Chen's strength. With the current lineage of the Liu family, it might not be able to deal with this guy. However, if they retreated at this point, the loss of the Liu family would be too great. He was still a little unwilling. Elder Long gritted his teeth and said to Liu Shaoan, Young Master Liu, I want to try again. Liu Shaoan looked at Elder Long. Elder Long raised his eyes and looked at Su Chen. His eyes were eager to move. At this moment, Su Chen also turned his head. At this moment, Su Chen finally noticed the gloomy old man next to Liu Shaoan. He was sure that the one who attacked him with the spirit just now was this old guy. Elder Long and Su Chen looked at each other. The two of them felt a bit like enemies, are particularly jealous when they meet. In Su Chen's sea of consciousness, the voice of Elder Yangshan called Elder Kwa sounded. Boy, this old guy seems a little unwilling. You have to be careful. Su Chen showed a sneer on his face. He can't help being unwilling. As soon as the voice fell, Su Chen felt the strength of his soul. After tearing and devouring part of Long Lao's mental power and soul fragments, Su Chen's soul recovered a little. The next second, Su Chen shouted coldly, "The evil spirit is coming. Kill." But Su Chen's soul actually took the initiative to attack. Flying out of the sea of consciousness, it went straight to Long Lao and Liu Shaoan. Looking at the posture, it was going to fight them to the end. Su Chen's soul quickly turned into an evil spirit and attacked Liu Shaoan. It seemed that it was going to devour Liu Shaoan first. Long Lao's face changed. The battle scene with Su Chen and the Sea of Consciousness just now reappeared. The pain of the soul being torn and devoured once again reappeared in Long Lao's heart. If Su Chen's spirit attacked Liu Shaoan like a madman, not good. Elder Long shouted, "Young Master Liu, let's retreat." If Elder Long attacked Su Chen, he would naturally take the initiative. But now, Su Chen actually took the initiative to attack with his spirit. Facing Su Chen, who had various means, Elder Long did not have the slightest confidence to protect Liu Shaoan from Su Chen's attack. If Liu Shaoan got into trouble, even if he killed Su Chen again, it would be useless. The Liu family would not reward him for killing Su Chen. On the contrary, they would punish him severely for Liu Shaoan's accident. Liu Shaoan's safety is the most important. Thinking of this, Elder Long could no longer care about anything else. He grabbed Liu Shaoan and retreated down the mountain. The guards around Liu Shaoan also hurriedly followed him to retreat. Seeing this, Su Chen pretended to chase him for a while. Then, he slowly dispersed the evil spirit coming and took back his spirit. "Fortunately, I managed to scare these bastards." Su Chen breathed a sigh of relief. His current state is already very bad. The spirit taking the initiative to attack is just a bluff. Before, Su Chen's spirit defeated Long Lao. One reason is that the spiritual secrets taught by the old man Yang Shen caught Long Lao off guard. The other reason is that the two spirits fought in Su Chen's spiritual sea of consciousness, and Su Chen had the advantage of terrain. If the two spirits left their bodies, as long as Long Lao and Su Chen's spirit were fighting, Su Chen's weakness might be exposed soon. Fortunately, Su Chen took advantage of the fact that the Liu family's strong men valued Liu Shaoan's safety and scared them away. Liu Shaoan's retreat naturally fell into everyone's eyes. Mr. Su. Zhang Lang, who looked at Su Chen. Su Chen shook his head. "Okay, don't worry about him for now. If this guy runs back to Shangjing, I'm afraid it will be difficult to deal with him in the future." Zhang Lang, who said with some regret. Su Chen sighed and said, "The sequelae of the unity of heaven and man are too great. My current combat power is only 1/10 of what it used to be. If we let others chase him, it will be even more risky. People like Liu Shaoan will not be unprepared even if they retreat. If we forcefully chase him, he might trick us." Zhang Lang, who nodded. Among the crowd, the only one who can confidently chase and kill Liu Shaoan is probably Li Changfeng. However, he is the chief of the Tiger Guards after all. This is the grudge between Su Chen and the Liu family. It is understandable that Li Changfeng took action to protect Su Chen. But it is a bit too much to force Li Changfeng to take action and chase and kill Liu Shaoan. And it is still unknown whether other people can cause harm to Liu Shaoan. The sudden appearance of Long Lao, a strong man close to the late stage of the God realm, was beyond Su Chen's expectation. If Liu Shaoan had other strong men to protect him, Su Chen would not be too surprised. After all, Liu Shaoan, as the think tank of the Liu family, has a very special status in the Liu family, and his importance to the Liu family far exceeds that of ordinary God realm strongmen. Su Chen said in a deep voice, "Let's first deal with the powerful enemy in front of us, Patton, the Siamese national teacher. His strength should not be underestimated. If we divide our troops into two groups, accidents may happen on both sides. So, it is better to concentrate on dealing with Patton. We have killed so many enemies today, and we have achieved our goal." Zhang Lang, who nodded and said nothing more. The figures of Liu Shaoan and others quickly appeared at the foot of Kingsang Mountain. When Elder Long saw that Su Chen and others did not chase them, he let go of Liu Shaoan. Young Master Liu, Su Chen's spiritual secret technique just now was very powerful. I suffered a great loss before. If he attacks you regardless of the consequences, I'm worried that you will have an accident, Elder Long explained. Liu Shaoan nodded. Then, he looked up at Kingsang Mountain. He said in a low voice, Old Master Long, it's okay, I understand. Elder Long breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Liu Shaoan is not an arrogant person. By the way, Liu Shao, there are Yan Hua Mao, Liu Yuan Wu, Cuiu and others on the mountain. There was some worry in the tone of Elder Long. Liu Shaoan said in a deep voice, it shouldn't be difficult for these middle-stage God Realm warriors to retreat. As for the other 3 early-stage God Realm guys, if they are killed in there, they can only be said to be useless. They will die if they die. Liu Shaoan's expression was indifferent, as if he was talking about something irrelevant. This cold-bloodedness made Elder Long feel a chill in his heart. First update. Chapter 874, Sneak Attack on Teammates. Liu Shaoan's ruthlessness frightened Elder Long. However, it was none of his business, so he just let it go. Elder Long still bowed and said, yes. Liu Shaoan glanced at Elder Long, narrowed his eyes and said, Elder Long, don't worry. This time, we won't make a wasted trip. As he spoke, Liu Shaoan turned his head and waved to a powerful God Realm guarding beside him. The God Realm powerhouse came forward. Liu Shaoan whispered in a low voice and explained a few words. Hearing Liu Shaoan's arrangement, the God Realm powerhouse's eyes suddenly lit up. He immediately promised, Young Master Liu, don't worry, I promise to complete the task. Liu Shaoan stretched out his hand and patted the God Realm powerhouse on the shoulder. Okay, I'll wait for you in Changjing. After speaking, Liu Shaoan's eyes looked towards Kingsang Mountain again. He murmured, Su Chen, you are lucky this time. You escaped. Next time, you won't be so lucky. Then, Liu Shaoan was escorted and evacuated quickly. On the other side, on Kingsang Mountain, Liu Shaoan's departure naturally fell into the eyes of everyone. Yang Maohe also noticed Liu Shaoan's departure. His face changed instantly. Liu Shao is gone. Yang Maohe's eyes subconsciously looked at Master Yu. Master Yu's eyes also flashed a trace of panic. Liu Shaoan is the backbone of the Liu family camp. But now the backbone of the Liu family has run away. Yang Maohe and Master Yu have a tacit understanding. The two of them did not need to communicate and subconsciously withdrew the formation. Without saying a word, they turned around and left. For formation masters like them, their lives are much more delicate than ordinary gods. Seeing the two leave, Zhang Langhu suddenly became anxious. Mr. Su? Zhang Langhu asked, don't you care about these two formation masters? Su Chen shook his head gently, don't worry about them. His eyes were fixed on Barton and Li Changfeng who were fighting. Su Chen's eyes sank slightly. It was not that Su Chen didn't want to keep these two formation masters, but he found something wrong. Li Changfeng, who was fighting with Barton, was slowly getting weaker. Li Changfeng's strength has been fluctuating, making it difficult to grasp. At the beginning, Li Changfeng was only in the middle stage of the divine realm. Later, when fighting with the owner of Jinglin Villa, he suddenly burst out with the combat power of the late divine realm. But Su Chen knew that a sudden burst of combat power beyond the usual must have a price to pay. Just like Su Chen entered the state of harmony between man and nature. At that moment, Su Chen replaced the heart of heaven with the heart of human heart, looking down on the world like the will of heaven and earth. Although Su Chen got great benefits, but the price he paid was also not small. Until now, he is still in the sequelae and has not recovered. Although, the increase in Li Changfeng's strength is not as exaggerated as Su Chen's. But Su Chen was sure that it was not without cost. After all, Li Changfeng was originally poisoned. Obviously, Li Changfeng's lack of successes was proof of this. If he delayed any further, he would certainly fall into a disadvantage. Su Chen frowned slightly. He thought for a moment, turned his head, and shouted to Cheng Xiansun, Zhaoqi, Liu Shaoan and Yan Maohe have both run away. Now, the Liu family only has these guys left. You work harder and kill them directly. Su Chen's voice was loud. Several people in the 9-dragon formation heard it clearly. Several people were startled and a little anxious. Cheng Xiansun, on the other hand, showed a happy expression. He responded loudly, "Don't worry, these 5 guys must die." Cheng Xiansun was quite confident. Before, he risked his injury and the damage to his magic weapon to completely activate the extreme cold glaze cover, forcibly activating the 9-dragon formation on the Feng Shui magic weapon to suppress the 5 great divine realms of the Liu family. It was a pity that Yan Maohu and Master Yu, 2 formation masters, suddenly intervened. If it weren't for Su Chen's advice, the 9 dragons formation in Chengshan town would have been completely cracked. Now, Yan Maohu and Master Yu are running away. Without the suppression of 10 suns in the sky and all things grow, the 9 dragons formation instantly becomes more powerful. For a while, the 5 masters of the god realm were under great pressure. Liu Yuanwu and Cuiyu looked at each other. Their faces were extremely ugly. Liu Shaoan and Long Lao left. Yang Maohu and Master Yu also left. Now, only he and Cuiyu, as well as 3 Liu family masters in the early stage of the god realm, are left trapped in the magic weapon formation of Chengshan town. If they continue, I'm afraid it will be dangerous. Run. Liu Yuanwu and Cuiyu made up their minds instantly. However, the unsuppressed 9 dragons formation doubled their pressure and made it difficult to escape. Liu Yuanwu and the other 2 looked at the other 3 Liu family masters in the god realm with cold eyes. Now, there are only 5 of them left in the Liu family. If they don't leave now, it will be even more difficult to leave later. Cheng Xiansun frantically urged the 9 dragon formation, as if to keep all 5 of them. Liu Yuanwu shouted at Cuiyu, "Do it." Cuiyu nodded. The next second, he and Cuiyu raised their hands together. The violent power of the 2 suddenly blasted towards the 3 Liu family masters. Bang, bang, bang. The 3 Liu family gods were originally resisting the 9 dragon formation with Liu Yuanwu and Cuiyu. As a result, they did not expect that they were attacked by their own people. The 3 were not careful and were directly hit on the 9 dragon formation. You asshole, I'll kill your ancestors. The 3 cursed. However, this did not work. In an instant, the 9 dragon formation seemed to have found an outlet. The violent power of the formation madly bombarded the 3 Liu family gods in the early stage. Puff, puff, puff. The 3 Liu family gods in the early stage immediately vomited blood. The 3 of them didn't bother to curse and were scrambling to resist the power of the formation. However, Liu Yuanwu and Cuiyu took advantage of the opportunity when the 9 dragon formation attacked the 3 people and rushed out from the weak point of the formation. I'd rather die than let my fellow Taoist die, so rest in peace. From now on, every year on this day, I will burn paper money for the 3 of you. Liu Yuanwu snorted coldly. On the side, Cuiyu didn't have any sympathy in his eyes. Assholes. You will not die well. The 3 Liu family's god realm powerhouses who were once again surrounded by the 9 dragon formation couldn't help but jump up and curse. However, this could not change the status quo. The sudden attack of Liu Yuanwu and Cuiyu made the Liu family's god realm powerhouses stunned. Even Cheng Xiansun was stunned. Aren't you guys in the same group? Why did you sneak attack your teammates? What's more, you're more ruthless than me. The second update is here. Chapter 875. The war is over. Outside the battlefield, Su Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. He breathed a sigh of relief. This was the effect he wanted. Su Chen knew in his heart that the formation that Cheng Xiansun used to destroy the extremely cold glass cover was indeed very strong. However, Cheng Xiansun's realm was there, and he could not hold on for too long. He loudly reminded Liu Shaoan, Yan Maohu and others to leave, and asked Cheng Xiansun to work harder, just to put pressure on Liu Yuanwu and Cuiyu. Sure enough, after Liu Shaoan and Yan Maohu left, the 2 men were like frightened birds. Slightly frightened by Cheng Xiansun, they directly attacked their colleagues to save their lives. In an instant, Cuiyu and Liu Yuanwu both escaped from the coverage of the 9 dragons formation. The 2 of them did not say any nonsense and immediately blasted Cheng Xiansun. Then, they fled without looking back. Damn it. Cheng Xianzhen's face sank. In a hurry, he could only mobilize the power of the formation to resist the attack of the two, and could not bring the two back into the range of the formation. When Cheng Xianzhen looked up again, Liu Yuan Wu and Ciyu were already far away. He could only grit his teeth and use the formation again to kill the remaining 3 Liu family God Realm Masters. Kill! Cheng Xianzhen roared. Then, holding the extremely cold glass cover, he attacked a God Realm Master in the formation. The face of this Liu family master changed drastically. He was only in the early stage of the God Realm, and was suppressed very miserably in the 9 Dragon formation. Just now, he was hit by Liu Yuan Wu's punch on the formation, and was seriously injured. Now seeing Cheng Xianzhen coming to kill, he was immediately scared to death. Master Cheng Qi, spare my life, I surrender. Cheng Xianzhen sneered. The car hit the wall, you know to turn. The stock price went up, you know to buy it. You know to change when you are caught for a crime. The big snot is flowing in your mouth, you know to throw it away. I tell you, it's too late. As the voice fell, the power in Cheng Xianzhen's hand was strengthened a little more. He raised his hand fiercely, and the extremely cold glass cover smashed down like a brick. Bang! The Liu family's God Realm strongman was immediately bleeding from his head. Immediately, the whole person was staggering, half dead. Not to mention that he was seriously injured and suppressed by the power of the 9 Dragon formation. Even if he was not suppressed, he, an early God Realm, could not be Cheng Xianzhen's opponent. Bang, bang, bang. Cheng Xianzhen hit several times in succession. The Liu family's God Realm strongman was killed directly. The other 2 Liu family God Realm strongmen were immediately scared to death. And Cheng Xianzhen did not give them any chance. He rushed directly and used the same method to send the last 2 people to the west. Who? After dealing with the last 3 people, Cheng Xianzhen put away the 9 Dragon formation and finally breathed a sigh of relief. He slowly turned his head and looked at Patton, the Siamese national teacher. This person is a real master. The most difficult enemy now is Patton, who is profound in Buddhism. Even Li Changfeng cannot win quickly. It is conceivable how powerful the Siamese national master's methods are. Li Weichang, I'll help you. Cheng Xianzhen shouted, and was about to attack again. However, he just took a step, and stumbled and almost fell. The next second, a weakness and pain that penetrated his heart instantly broke out from his body. It hurts so much. Cheng Xianzhen's expression wrinkled instantly. After this battle, although he made great contributions and won, however, he pushed himself and the extremely cold glass cover to the extreme. Up to this moment, Cheng Xianzhen did not faint, and he was already a group of strong spirits. However, even so, the Siamese national master was also shocked. Now the Liu family's strong men are dead or running away. Only he and the Siamese strong men are left, big cats and small cats. If he doesn't leave, I'm afraid he will also be here when Cheng Xianzhen or Su Chen recovers. Go. Barton said hurriedly, then turned around and left. The other Siamese warriors also hurriedly withdrew, as panicked as dogs that had lost their homes. Where are you running to? Meng Diqiu, who liked to fight with the wind, subconsciously chased after them. However, his footsteps soon stopped, because he found that, except for him, no one was chasing after him. Meng Diqiu was frightened and stopped immediately. He scratched his head, embarrassed to the point that his toes were about to dig out a 3-bedroom and 1 living room. Meng Diqiu touched his nose and asked, why don't you chase them? Just let them go? Su Chen smiled kindly. Although, he didn't like Meng Diqiu's character and personality very much. But this time, Meng Diqiu, who had always been a fence sitter, insisted to the end. Even Su Chen couldn't help but look at him with some respect. Meng Leo, don't chase after a desperate enemy. Su Chen shook his head. It's not that he doesn't want to chase after them, but that everyone is really unable to chase after them. After a series of battles, almost everyone was exhausted. If they continue to chase, there may be some damage. Speaking of which, for Su Chen's camp, it is now a big victory. Su Chen didn't want to see any damage caused by the pursuit. The enemies died or ran away. For a moment, the entire Kingsong Mountain finally calmed down. Everyone looked at each other with a knowing smile on their faces. At the same time, they couldn't help but feel a little scared. Today's battle was too dangerous. Accidents happened one after another. If there was a mistake, everyone might have died here. Fortunately, it finally ended with this good ending. Su Chen, what should we do now? King Mui asked. Everyone looked at Su Chen. Su Chen thought for a while and said, Captain Qin, please call some brothers from the Tiger Guards to clean up the mess. As for everyone, hurry up and recover. King Mui nodded. Okay. Then she went to the side to make a phone call. Now that the Battle of Kingsang Mountain has ended, it's time to clean up the mess. Chen, woo. Chen Yuheng ran over with a wronged look on his face and grabbed Su Chen's sleeve tightly. Su Chen looked apologetic and comforted Chen Yuheng. After all, it was because of him that Chen Yuheng had suffered such a disaster today. After a long period of comfort, Chen Yuheng finally calmed down. The third update is here. The update is over. Good night everyone. I can finally update early today. Thank you for your support. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.